Welcome to another Thursday night, as usual, late live stream edition of the Hard Rock Show. I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
I'm Belle.
And I'm Jeff.
My apologies. This time around, it's more my fault than anyone else's. We wanted to get started at 9 o'clock tonight, but it didn't quite work out for me this week, so I'll take the heat this time around. We'll aim to be on time, 9 o'clock next week, but you know us. We'll see what happens. Tonight we've got a lot to get through, as always. We've got another round of our concept albums, King of the Riff setup, which is going to be Operation Mindcrime from Queensrÿche versus Scenes from Memory from Dream Theater. Conrad will be joining us later on, by the way, folks, so you will be seeing him too. We'll also have our songs of the week, as always. We'll choose the bassists for our glam band, builder band thing as well. We're going to chat about rock and roll monopoly and a whole lot of other stuff. So make sure you get in the comments, say hi, give us your thoughts. There are reference tracks for you to check out of everything we're talking about tonight in the description box. So if you're tuning in now live or later on, you can feel free to check those out and get a taste of the music we're talking about. And also, while you're there, check out our details, find us on your preferred social platform, and give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, a share, all that kind of stuff. It really, really helps us out. And do the same for our fantastic sponsors. A big thank you to Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt Rockstar Finance, as always. Give them a like or a follow too. That'd be greatly appreciated. But like I said, there is a lot to get through, as always. We've got some people saying hello in the comments. So quickly here, Michael saying good evening, everyone. Andrew's here too, saying good evening once again. Same with Darren, evening all. Good to see you all. Same with Rowan. And Sally saying hello, metal people. So good to see all of you so far. Hopefully you're all keeping well out there. Jody says hi to everyone, by the way, including those here.
Hey, Jody.
Hey, Jody.
So there we have that. But let's quickly do the rounds here. Dave, how's your week going?
Yeah, I'm good. Kids are back to normal. They've gotten over COVID. They're back at school.
Nice.
Last day of term 2 tomorrow.
Great.
So fucking year's gone quick. Jade's going to be in high school before I know it.
Mm-hmm.
Julia's on the mend. She's feeling a lot better. She's had COVID bad, and I avoided the whole thing somehow.
Well done.
It's weird. So
Dave Wick.
Yeah, strange. Last time I went through the family, I caught it. That was shit. But this time I missed it. So just hung out with the kids on the weekend. We watched Karate Kid 1 and 2 because Jade needed to see part 2 before she can see season 3 of Cobra Kai. And Roy hadn't seen number 1, so we watched number 1 again and number 2. So tomorrow we start watching Cobra Kai season 3. And Jade's looking forward to it. I had to wait 18 months between season 2 and season 3 because it was a switch from YouTube to Netflix. She has to wait 1 week. How is that fair?
Dave,
it's cool.
You know how it's always like the oldest child in the family that has to break the way, and then the second one down gets what took a year to make. The other one gets it a week later, and it's like, you fucker, that's not fair. But that's how the real world works for everyone, Dave.
It is. Plus, I had 18 years of building anticipation and watching theories develop online and all that type of discussion, which is fun. In this world where everything's instant access, you don't have that type of shit anymore. So that was cool. I think the 18-month layoff was good because you had a build-up. That's what made the show really popular. But, apart from that, just work. Can't really do much or go anywhere at the moment. I did start watching that Fubar, Schwarzenegger show on Netflix.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's all right. Schwarzenegger's cool. Young generation sucks. It's like watching that 90s show. The old cast was cool. New people are just fucking stupid. If you're old school and you like the old stuff, then cool. Yeah. But, yeah, Schwarzenegger did pretty good on that. Apart from that, not much happening with me. How you doing, Belle?
Yeah, all right. Busy, stressed with work, but that's okay. My Google Home just said Indeed, so I'm not sure. That's kind of freaky.
AI
knows.
Listening. Yeah.
Let's not start that though.
That really scared me.
Google Home knows how stressed you actually are. So when you said stress, it's like, indeed, I've heard the shit she's been saying.
That's exactly what happened.
Get everybody fucked up. Okay, Google. And everyone's phones just went.
Yeah. I know. The amount of times my Siri goes off when my wife's watching something on telly is fucking mind-numbing. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, sorry, that just threw me. So I don't know. I'm fine. Just writing last-minute reviews as usual. It seems to be my thing. But I managed to bundle through every week. I'll see how I go this week. I know things are chopped a little short, but whatever. Yeah. I did in the evenings manage to finish a series that I'd been watching called Dead to Me. I already saw the first 2 seasons, and then the 3rd season came out a while ago now. And so because I got a terrible memory, I thought I'll rewatch
Yeah.
the first 2 seasons, which was fine anyway because it's such an awesome show. And then watch season 3 and was really surprised at the end. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Cool. I haven't seen third season yet. I don't. First two were
okay.
awesome.
Yeah. Well, the third one's cool, good as well. So well worth watching.
Yeah, great characters, great story.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant actor. Christine Applegate is so underrated as an actress.
I agree with that.
That's probably her last role too, because of the Parkinson's.
Oh, is that what? Yeah, because I heard she got sick. I didn't know.
Yeah.
How,
she had cancer or something. She had a mistake.
Yeah, she had breast cancer, and now she got Parkinson's.
Oh fuck!
They had the hands in the concrete. What's that fucking called?
Yeah,
in Sunset Trip. Yeah,
Walk of Fame.
Hollywood Stars Walk of Fame.
Star.
Yeah. They had Kelly. Kathy Siegel played Kelly's mum on Married with Children.
Yeah.
So she was there as like a surrogate mum to help her with the walking and everything. That was a really nice video.
Yeah, that's lovely. I haven't seen that either. I saw photos of that, so I knew that it happened. And that's where I saw that she was sick, but I didn't know why. She appeared in the show as well, I think, as the other character's mother, Judy.
Nice.
So Jen's friend in the show. In season.
Great.
I don't know if she was in one of the first seasons, but she was definitely in the third.
Cool.
Anyway, yeah. So that's been my week pretty much. Watching TV and working.
All right. Nothing wrong with that. It's all good.
How are you, Jeff?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. At the moment, I'm here. I've had more computer issues. I've had, a work week from fucking hell.
Wow.
Today was just like all within the last half hour, 45 minutes.
I hate that.
Just like everything just went boom. And and then my computer has been playing up. The last little while, I've got a wireless keyboard, and it's a Dell. It's brilliant. I've had it for years and really like it. And I use it to switch between my work and my main PC. I can just click a switch, right? Well, it's been playing up lately. So when I type stuff, all of a sudden, like a letter will go right across the screen, or then it won't type at all, and I have to give it a smash it around the fucking thing and threaten it, and it finally come good.
Give it a backhand.
You can make a fucking video clip of just me threatening my shit. It'd go viral. But,
angry Canadian get pissed off with keyboard.
That's right. Angry Canadian attacks. But I've had to price a new keyboard, right? So I had to get all the things that I wanted. So one, it had to be wireless because I have to be able to switch between devices, right, on the fly. So a wired version is cheaper, but the wireless, So fuck. So anyway, I've been doing all my research on that, and so get this: the keyboard that I want and that fulfills my need. I could get some probably piece of junk, but it's $389 just for the fucking keyboard.
I'm not surprised, to be honest, that the cost of those going through.
Crazy. So I gotta get that. And so that's but at least I'll be able to type without fucking thing going, you're typing along and all of a sudden like 49 fucking letters all in a row. I'm like, what the fuck? Then I gotta press delete and then I just start typing again, and it does it. It's really fun when you're playing password games on the computer trying to get into shit. I'm sorry. You know what, man? That's not fucking fun at all.
Wow.
Anyway, so that's just a sampling of my week, but I'm sure yours will top that. So knock yourself out. How you been?
I've been good overall. I do have one thing for the bin later on, which I'm not going to spoil now, so stick around to the end or watch later on when you get a chance to. That's a bit of a doozy. It's never happened to me before, and it was a bit of a oh fuck moment, but it's okay. It's all worked out today. It sort of resolved itself, which is nice. It's all good. Nothing health related or anything like that. So at the end of the day, like Bella said before we started rolling, it's like, as I always say, everyone's happy, healthy, well, so I can't complain. But that little moment was just a big fuck you, and you got to spend 40 minutes on the phone to do two different organizations to sort shit out. It's a bit sort of annoying. But again, that's my bin later on. But no, outside of that, it's all pretty good. I actually managed to edit I think, a 2-hour episode in record time because Dave, as you know, we filmed it on Sunday and had it more or less finished on Tuesday night, which is pretty much a fucking record for me. So I smashed that out. It was easy though because it was longer songs, so that made it less.
You're welcome.
For those who don't know, we filmed an episode dedicated to songs from concept albums, and that was the reason why a lot of these songs are a bit longer, which made my job a bit easier. But yeah, aside from the usual grind, everything's pretty good. Just it's one of those weeks for me where when you're sort of getting toward the end of the week, you're like this part of the week is always one of the best parts of the week. But just when you're just doing the daily grind, Monday to Thursday kind of thing, it's like, oh, fuck. You hit Thursday morning, and it's like, man, can it just be the weekend already? And that's kind of how I felt today. But no, generally speaking, everything's pretty good. Just stick around my bin later on, and we'll get into it. I'm going to go first on the drinks side of thing. I've got the I started off on 3 Lilies gin early on, which is awesome. And I got that from Margaret River when I was in WA, which is cool. And I'm currently drinking this Dubliner liqueur, which is really nice. It's like a honeycomb liqueur whiskey kind of combination, which I think is phenomenal. Dave, are you drinking water again?
Yep.
Bugger.
Man, send me your address.
It's going to be a staple for the next few months, I think.
I'm going to send you some Aldi wine. I have to. Give me your address. I'll send it to you. Seriously, I'm not joking. I will send a fucking case.
Keep me supplied.
I'll keep you supplied just because you're a good guy. You deserve it.
Sorry, guys. I just spilled my drink everywhere.
Oh, no.
So what are you drinking? You're not.
Okay, well, Belle, what were you
It's
drinking?
all frothing up now.
Beer, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Taste
so,
of
yeah.
home.
Now it's a boy.
That's a waste of chlorine. No, I don't have any, and you're wasting it.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well,
You're wasting it.
Oh my god.
Hopefully
It's
it's,
beer in here.
oh wow.
I fall off my chair. Belle spills a drink. Fantastic.
Shit. I'm going to use that bit later on.
What a concept.
Yes, Belle's turn.
Maybe I'll splice those two together. Anyway, Jeff, what have you got tonight?
Oh, I'm just I'm back on the Pepsi kick.
Hey.
Yeah, nothing, no alcohol tonight for me. I got to work in the morning, so you guys can handle that shit. I can't do it. I get a couple drinks and it goes right to my head, and next thing I wake up in the morning. So I can't do that shit.
It's okay. The reason why we can handle it is we've been doing this for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
That's the reason why. It just takes practice.
I get fucking tipsy just smelling it. So right now I'd be rolling around in Belle's place. I'd be like, holy fuck. Where's the door?
You okay, Belle?
Yeah, I'm just annoyed. Now I've got a anthrax shirt that smells like beer, and I've got beer all over me. And
that's normal, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So?
Yeah.
It's been to a few concerts, so yeah.
It's rock and roll.
It'll be all right, Belle. It'll wash out. It'll come out okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some comments. That's all right. You've got more, haven't you? You'll be fine.
If not, you can just always suck on your shirt.
Oh, it's like a teething rag. It's like an old teething rag. That's what it can be. Oh, this is escalating quickly. Let's get to some comments. Sally said, "Hey, Jody," which is good. Nicole's here saying, "Evening all. Good to see you again." Same with Chris. Good to see you again too, buddy.
Hey.
Darren's here saying, "Hey, yo, good to see you." Another Darren, Paul Downer touring in January. Will you be going to this one? I can't say that I am at this point in time. I don't know if anyone else will be. My plans for the next 6 months are going to be very much up in the air, so I can't commit to anything at this point in time. But it would be good to go and see him.
It would be good.
Yeah, it would be good. But no.
Not sure.
Can he even walk? I think last time I saw him, he was in a fucking wheelchair.
I think he's actually getting a lot better now. I think he had some treatment and it went pretty well. So I think he announced a tour with who's it with? Because I saw the announcement too.
Was it Blaze Bailey?
I wonder if there's guys that are buddies. Like, would they be?
I don't know.
I think they have toured together. I'm serious.
Yeah, because I mean,
they have.
the
No, I
guys
think they
got
have, but I'm
kicked
trying
out
to
of
remember.
Maiden, so you know, it's
I
like
did see
Bruce
one.
is the only one that left on his own accord, right?
Yes. Yeah, he left. I'm trying to remember stuff. I don't know if it or not. But there was an announcement with. I'm sure I'll go through the comments and it'll be in there in a second because someone has pointed it out, I'm sure. But no, there was a very recent announcement with Paul the owner tour, and I forget who else was touring with, but I was like, okay, that actually kind of makes a bit of sense. Vinny, if you know, put it in the comments, anyone. But Vinny says, evening, my friends. The faces of familiarity on a cold winter's night. Rough week. My auntie passed away due to severe hay fever. Histamine.
Sorry.
No.
I think he's... Wait
he's
a
following
minute.
us.
A teeny.
Auntie histamine.
Seriously. It's going too far.
There's a line, Vinny. You've crossed it, my friend. But that's
Vinny doesn't know where the line
I'll have
is.
a drink for antihistamine. Yeah.
There we go. Here's a drink for antihistamine. There we go.
I'd drink if I could.
So that's okay.
Oh my God.
Adrian saying, I love Christine married with children. There we go.
Me too.
Yeah.
Chris is here saying, evening, all good to see you as well. Joel's here again. Good to see you again. Hi, all, hope as well. Sorry, I'll be watching the rerun later. That's all good. Just watch whenever you can. It's always fun. Michael, Andrew, if you get the time, you run over Patreon. Yes, I did see that one. So, yes, I will get to that email very, very shortly. It's had a manic week getting up to this point. But over the weekend, I'll get back to you. I promise, Michael. So thank you for the reminder. Adrian says, $3.99 for a keyboard. That's outrageous. Well, yeah, but it's just where it's all going at the moment. Nicole, Jeff, I'll swap you a keyboard for a pull pump and a chlorinator $4,000 later. Ouch.
I got no place to put a pool or a chlorinator, so you can keep it. But yeah, no, that's fucking crazy. $4,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow.
That hurts. Especially in winter. Like, wow. But I guess up there, I suppose.
Necessary in Queensland, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like having aircon.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know.
Wow, 4,000.
Adrian saying whiskey, followed up with you guys drink whiskey and I'll puff. There we go. But Darren's on the coffee or water, which is always good. Coffee is fantastic. I love coffee. Guy overseas is with us again as always, saying hi, Anti-Pedal Rockers. Cheers from Denmark. Very nice to see you again as always. Adrian said I saw Anthrax open up for Kiss. That's a nice fucking lineup.
Wow, nice.
Edge Crusher's here. Good to see you again. Howdy all. Darren says metal shirt that smells like beer. What's the problem? There is no problem.
Exactly.
Fasha says, good evening all. Good to see you as well, buddy. Hopefully you are keeping well. Vinny's followed up with smells like beer in here. Chris has gone homebrew, which is always a good thing. And BP, good to see you again, has gone hi. Can you do a prog special? At some point.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'd be down for that.
At some point. I'll have to
I'm
make
bringing
a
the rush that, baby.
Yeah.
What's the Dave's dismay?
Yeah, Dave will be just, oh my God, not again. Chris is gone. I saw coronavirus over anthrax in 86. There we go. All righty. Let's keep moving on. Let's get to our songs of the week. Again, everything is going to be referenced in the description box, but in case you are here with us live, then you can check it out in the comments. We're going to put one in there now for our songs of the week. No, hang on. So, just quickly, guys, has a prong special. Well, we could do that too. What about an anvil special? We could do that as well at some point. There's a lot. We have got so much we could do that we're never going to run out of stuff to talk about. I swear. We're never going to run out of stuff to talk about.
No.
But anyway, moving on. First song of the week is Dave's pick for this week, which is Elegant Weapons with Horns for a Halo, which comes from the debut album, which is also called Horns for a Halo, which is already out now. It's Richie Faulkner from Judas Priest's solo, I guess, or alternative project, fronted by Ronnie Romero, who's got more credits than you can poke a stick at with his career. But Dave, it's your pick, so you go first.
How fucking cool is this song? If you haven't heard it, the whole album's pretty fucking awesome too. Vocals are fantastic. Guitar work is awesome. Everything about this is awesome. They're not reinventing the wheel or anything, but what they're doing exceptionally well. These songs are amazing. The song is fantastic. This band slots in with all the greats that have already been established. They're just doing what needs to be done. Video clip is pretty cool too, of the horns and the halos above their head. That's pretty cool. Nice use of the color red, but I think this is fucking great, and I think everyone should listen to it.
Cool. Well, it was your pick for a reason, so that's obviously why. Belle, did you get a chance to check this one out?
Yep, I did.
Nice.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Pretty heavy, which suits me just fine. Vocals are perfect. Maybe a little bit too much guitar wankery.
Wow.
We have a theme tonight, I think. Shit.
Yeah, there could be.
Yeah.
Yep.
Shots fired.
So, other than that, it was good. It was a great song.
Nice. All right. Jeff, you going to rebut?
Well, look, I didn't think there was any guitar wankery there. Of course, I'd say that, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was really good, and I knew this thing when it was coming out a while back, but it kind of went off my radar. And thank you, fucking Dave, for putting that up there because that made my day. That was awesome. I'll be definitely checking out more of this, and yeah, I liked it. I thought the song was just, it was just great. It was just kick ass. Had a little bit of everything in there, and you know, actually, I looked it up and Googled, and they're actually classified as a super group. So you know, you don't get very many of them anymore, really. So when they do come along, you gotta grab on. So yeah, I enjoyed it. So if you haven't heard it, unfuck that. It's good.
Yep. No, well, as you'd expect with the pedigree of this band, it's loaded with riffs and melody. It's nice and heavy. I like the energy. Spoiler alert, the album's pretty fucking good too. So if you like this song, you're going to like the album. But this track in particular has a bit of darkness about it. It's one of the darker touches on the album overall, which is cool. I think both Richie and Ronnie get to shine, not only in the song, but on the album overall too. But I think Ronnie Romero probably deserves a little more credit than he gets because he's always been lumped in. Since he did that work with Rainbow, he's sort of been lumped into this category, which I think is a bit unfair. And if you listen to his other work with the Ferryman and a whole bunch of other projects he's been a part of, he's got just this phenomenal body of work, and everything he's done, he's just smoked it. So I think vocally he deserves a little more credit than he sort of gets. And I think he might be starting to get it with this one finally, which is pretty cool for me.
That is good.
Yeah, the thing Dave mentioned with the switching between halos and horns in the video is a very cool little touch. I did pick up that as well. This song in particular is more of a mid-tempo one. It's not a blistering kind of a track, but there's some nice flash in the lead work. Obviously, Bell thought it was too much, but I liked it. And there was some great atmosphere in the midpoint change up with the sort of wailing vocal in the background too. That little composition trick was a nice touch there. This is all about the solo, though. The main solo on this song just ices it off pretty wonderfully for me. If you like riffs and melody, the great vocals, great guitar work, this is pretty much going to be what you want to hear. But that said, don't sleep on the rhythm section for this one. I know everyone's getting the flowers to the vocals and the guitar on this one, but the rhythm section, especially on this track, was pretty bloody cool. It reminded me a little bit of Kill Devil Hill, which is a project I really enjoyed a few years back, speaking of supergroups. So there we go. A great pick from Dave, and I have to give Dave credit for going away from his type this week. So just to throw that in there, we have to give Dave a little bit of credit on that one, just to show some love there. And Dave has
vary occasionally.
It can vary occasionally. What do we got here? Guy says Faulkner is a beast. He absolutely is. Darren says, yep, these guys fucking rock. Nicole, Jeepers, I like this. Good. I'm glad to see that. Vinny, I came across this. It's giving me Sabbath's Dehumanizer vibe. It's great sound. Nice. Underrated album, Dehumanizer.
Love that album.
Sure is. Yeah.
Anyway, Adrian's going guitar wankering, bite your tongue. You'd have hated me in a little Patreon Legends chat earlier today. So Michael rates elegant weapons too and guitars just fine, not too much. There we go. Guy has asked, you guys heard Kings of Thrash, Jeff Young et al. I haven't yet personally. Has anyone else given that?
Of it? I've heard of it, but I haven't heard
of it.
Yeah.
Definitely something to check out. Jeff Young is a cool dude. I like him.
Unfortunately, not had a lot of time, unfortunately. We listen to a lot of music, and just don't get a chance to everything, unfortunately, but we tried it as best as we can. Chris says, yeah, I agree with Bell. So there we go. The whole song is great, but the guitar anchor is like a 9. So there we go. There we go. And Basher says, listen to Elegant Weapons album and Pyramids. I forget now. Immortal. That's provided by Tetra, Spotify, and both rock. We are getting to that on our Sunday session coming up. Michael said Kings of Thrash, yep, heard and liked. So there we go. And Adrian chimed in saying love Rainbow. Rainbow has a pretty cool body of work as well.
Love Rainbow.
Kevin's chimed in saying at the Hard Rock Show, Mindcrime by a hair. So that's one vote in for Mindcrime.
Spoiler alert. Yeah,
well, we'll see. That's for Kevin. We'll see how we all got to get to that. We'll get to that in due course. But thanks for getting your vote in now. Next song of the week is Jeff's choice, which is the latest from Vega, with a song called Love to Hate You. It's from the album Battle Lines, which is due September 8th in 2023. So not too far away now, but a little bit to go yet. So we're on the promo cycle of it. Jeff, what made you choose this one?
Well, these guys have been on my radar for a while. So Vega is one of those bands that I knew about probably 3 or 4 years ago. I
Mhm.
came across. I listened to a little bit of their stuff and thought, okay, I like it, but I wasn't blown away. Right? It was kind of like, all right, yeah, it's not bad, but it's sort of like middle of the road for me, right?
Mm.
So I did a little research, found out they were formed in, they're an English band from England,
Yep.
formed in 2009, and they've got 7 albums. So that's pretty prolific. That's one every 2 years. So that's, that's on par, so this song, though, when it came across, I'm a big fan of that Frontiers. I love because that whole genre that they represent, that record label, is right up my alleyway. So it came across my inbox, and I went, you know what? I like this. In fact, I think this is the best thing I've heard from these guys. So really looking forward to see where this new album goes. I just liked it. The video was cool. I thought the video was well done, and there was just something about it. Just to had that little bit of we'll just use the word charisma. There was just something about the front man, the way he comes across, and the band playing, which will actually lead me to my bin later on.
Okay.
Unrelated to these guys, but you'll understand when I get
there. We're getting bin spoilers in, or bin sort of teasers in, I should say.
Yeah, that's right. So, but yeah, look, I definitely want to see where this album goes. I'm going to get it, and I hope it's as good as this.
Nice. All right, let's go to you next, Belle. How'd you go with this one?
I actually listened to your song, Jeff.
Thank you.
We're getting
not worthy.
Progress.
Yeah.
It was an 80s throwback song, which is not a criticism, because lots of bands are doing that I love, like Heat, Eclipse, a couple. So there's nothing wrong with this song, but has all the ingredients. They're all top quality, but it just didn't make me go, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I want to listen to it again. It was, it was great. It just wasn't like amazing.
Okay. No, that's cool. That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you heard anything from them, Belle?
From them? Yeah. But I know what it's very Frontiers, isn't it? It's
yes, it is a very Frontiers release.
Actually, most of the stuff that Frontiers brings out, like all the bands they represent, I feel the same about as what I do about this. Like I really like it, but it's not my preferred genre.
Cup of tea.
Which is a lot heavier than that. Yeah. But I still like it. It's still it's great.
Yep. No, that's all good. That's actually, I fully get where you're coming from when it comes to the Frontiers label in particular. I do have a very strong thing, which it'll either grab you or it won't pretty quickly, I think. But if you like it, you're in a very happy place very quickly. Dave, how'd you go?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Some of the softer stuff that I do enjoy as a change to Wednesday 13 and Dream Theater. But this is always pretty cool. AOR with a catchy hooks, done well, performed well. The chorus reminds me of something that I've heard before. I listened to this a few times. I could not put my finger on it. It just seemed very, very familiar. And I'm going to keep listening to it until I figure it out. But it's cool because I like that. Whatever it's reminding me of, it's a song I know and I really like. I just can't pick what the hell it is.
Let me know, Dave, because there's something there for me too. I don't know what it is. You're right.
Yeah. Not sure what it is, but whatever it is, it could just be the AOR formula because there is a style to what they do. And these guys do it well. It is my first time hearing of this band at all, so I haven't heard anything else from them, but I'll definitely check out some more stuff. And as I have to mention, the guitar solo was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It was. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, that's kind of the center point or centerpiece of that whole song, to be honest. This is a band I have reviewed 1 or 2 of their releases over the years. I have heard some of their stuff before, but to me, Jeff, I don't know how much you've listened to them, but this feels like one of the actual heavier songs from this band. There's a bit more bite.
Yes, that's right.
This one. Yeah,
they got a more. If you go back into their catalog, it's kind of like maybe just a slightly harder version of Bon Jovi, if you want to go there.
Yeah.
A heavier Bon Jovi, but not like heavy, just a heavier Bon Jovi. They got the catchy choruses, all that stuff, and this song is a little bit heavier. I think maybe that's what drew me to it. I don't know.
Maybe, because that, like I said, it's very much a Frontiers release, but this one has a little more bite than what you usually get out of Frontiers. Not heaps, but there's just a little bit more of attack on it. Loads of melody, but I like the attack on it. There's there's just, it's just a good, solid, melodic hard rock song. There's a nice mix on it too, which I really appreciate, along with one hell of a hook in that chorus, which is funny because you guys had mentioned the earworm aspect of it. It's got a very big hook in it. Gets stuck in your head nicely. Nice lyrics there as well. Nothing too complicated, but I was saying before, the centerpiece of this song for me is the solo. I love the way it builds up to it as well. Like the songwriting around that aspect was really nicely done. It's just a nice, punchy, melodic hard rock track with probably a bit more balls than you might expect when you listen to it from the Frontiers perspective. But the solo caps it all off. It's a nice song, well done. And I think that solo is kind of the standout element for me. So that's the part that got my attention the most. But yeah, like I said, I've listened to a couple of things from the band. I've enjoyed it. But this actually makes me want to check out the album a bit more than I would normally be keen to check out Vega. So nice little change of pace, I guess, for these guys. But we'll see how it all shakes out in the end. But yeah, new album, Battle Lines, due September. So if you like this song, make sure you bookmark that one.
Yeah. Apparently, they got their name from Vega, the star, being the fourth star, closest star to us. So yeah.
Oh, the singer reminded me of a combination between Julian Sands and Carl from Die Hard.
Okay.
I don't know why.
From Die Hard. Okay, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the terrorist after Bruce Willis in Die Hard. And Julian Sands, who played the Warlock in those Warlock movies.
Yeah.
And
Julian Sands, was he still missing?
I didn't know he was.
Is anyone? Yeah. He's been missing, and they've been like this, they've been looking for him for months. They don't know if he's alive or dead.
Julian Sands.
Yeah. If anyone out there knows, in the comments, definitely, I'd be interested.
Where he is.
They don't know where he is. He's literally a missing person.
Wow.
Fucking Warlock got vanished.
The Warlock got him. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
That
was a terrible
Julian
fucking
Sands
film,
missing in
actually.
Sunco.
Yeah.
Oh,
Family remembers brightly. Yeah, he's still missing.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a shame. Actually,
it's been for months. Yeah.
Well, we found him. He's in this music video.
Yeah, there he is.
He's got a new career going now.
Get
on to Interpol, Dave. We got him. We found him. Yeah.
It's all good.
We got him.
Frontier Records signed him.
That would be a nice story, actually. A nice happy ending.
Identity, just to make it work. All righty. I see Conrad is trying to jump in there, so I'll get back to that in a second. So give me a sec here. But Vinny's gone, great pick, Jeff. Could easily feature on a movie soundtrack. That's actually a pretty good vibe for it. Yeah, I agree with that. No, but Chris has gone Vega. It's like everything I hated in AOR, Kansas, Toto, Foreigner, removed. Actually heavy guitars, minimal keys, and actual power. So there we go. There's some praise for it.
Yep.
Adrian says exactly Bon Jovi. So
there we go. Yeah. It's there. I'm not crazy. Yeah.
No, you're not crazy at all. Michael's gone Vega, a bit like Loverboy to me. That's actually not a bad comp, actually.
Loving every minute of it.
Yeah. Darren says, yeah, it's okay. It sounds like a lot of Frontiers bands, which I do understand that side of things as well. Nicole says, definitely familiar chorus, Dave, thinking a Kiss song for some reason. Okay, well, I don't know.
Ooh.
Nowadays,
you just said some terrible things there, Nicole. Them fighting words.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
I don't mind.
Is
that what it's reminded you of, Dave? Is it a Kiss thing?
It could be.
I don't know.
Could be.
Wow.
We'll see.
Find out tomorrow.
What?
I'll find out tomorrow. Okay. Listen to every Kiss song I know. That's me set. I can't. I got Elvis to review for Sunday.
You're gonna be doing that one. Adrian says I like guitars, but lyrics are kind of lame. Which again, it's kind of territory with the Frontiers side of things. Rowan says the closest star to us is the sun. So there we go.
That's so well. Yeah.
Shit,
luck. Yeah.
As confirmed last year, Julian Sands is still missing, never found him. Nicole says still missing. Nicole says, sorry, Jeff. Chris says, Vega recovering pig and elephant DNA just won't splice. So,
wow.
And Vinny says that was Dave's jizz face just then when this was mentioned.
That's too much information.
Recall. I've made a lot of faces the last 5 minutes. I'm not sure exactly which one he's referring to.
The moment where Kiss got brought into the occasion from Nicole.
Do it again. You just did it.
Of course, man. When you mention Kiss, what do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, Kiss and Vega in the same sentence. Yeah, I don't know.
Dave's sitting there like Pip on the snare drum going, this is a soggy dream come true.
Sorry, Bill. I feel sorry for you.
Yeah,
Being surrounded by these heathens.
She watched this show before she joined us. She knows what we're like.
I know what I'm in for.
That's
and you know, I'm just too sober to. I'm just too much of a lady at the moment. But
I'm
I'll get
gonna
there.
leave that alone. So Chris has gone serious. No one knows the Love Boy South Park reference. Can't say I do, unfortunately. It's not. I don't watch much TV at all. To be honest,
I love Loverboy though. Love them. They're great.
Yeah. Alrighty. Let's bring him in. Thor's walking through London, I assume, somewhere.
Awesome t-shirt, dude.
Yeah. Hello, hi guys. I've just come. Oh yeah, thank you. Nice to be here.
How's it all going?
Good. I just come back from the Doll Scum Centre, of which I'm getting my payments set up, all that sort of stuff. It's a headache here. It's a lot easier in Australia. So those doll scum watching at home, you really don't know how good you've got it. You've got it a lot easier back there.
They do have it pretty good. Yeah,
they do.
Just be careful you don't get hit by a car or something, because we don't want to see that shit.
That would be a first.
That's okay. I'm guessing there's one there. There's one there.
This is like the whole. I don't know if anyone's ever seen it, but there's a video kicking around where some guy's driving and there's a truck being towed, and it's right in front of the car that this guy's driving, and his wife's asleep beside him. So he just sort of shakes her to wake her up and screams like, because it looks like a truck's coming straight up with a massive heart attack. So Connor going around, there's the car right there, and trying like to that video in time. So there we go. Just something
I'm in the back streets heading home, so it's not too much traffic, thankfully.
Hey, if you go by the If Maiden's pub, are you going that way?
You want me? All right, I will do just for you. I'll make a special trip round the corner, round the block. It's actually not too far. It's not too far out my way, so I can do that if you like. I'll take you past the Maiden pub.
Oh, cool,
guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Got some tourism going in too. Nice.
I can do the Maiden pub thing. I will say you might be a little disappointed because it's covered in scaffolding at the moment.
It just wouldn't be the show without something like that going on. It just wouldn't.
Yeah, it looks a bit daggy at the moment, mind you. It looked that way years. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done. I think they're building another floor on it. They dug out underneath and put a venue in. Wow. Since the time I was away, since I got back to Australia, I remember them starting that or about to start it. And then obviously it got done. And now there's a venue underneath it now, live music venue, which is much better than what it used to be. Okay. I can take you inside if you like and show you all the Maiden shit on the walls and stuff.
Okay.
All right.
By this.
All right. We can do that. I'll speak to the management and just ask them first, obviously, if they allow me to film inside. But there used to be before they dug this out underneath and built the venue, it was just the main bar that we're going to go into where Maiden first played. But we're almost. It's just up the road here a bit. Cool. This is close. It's at the end of my street, and it's my local. It's actually the closest pub to my house, which is awesome.
That is so awesome.
And I'm gonna be actually singing there. They're doing like a metal karaoke. There's a metal karaoke starting up on Monday. On Monday nights there'll be a metal karaoke there, so I'll be in there performing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be cool.
What do you?
They have quite a lot of gigs here as well. Have quite a lot of gigs on, so it's a good place to be.
I imagine bands would be frothing at the mouth just to get a chance to play where Maiden, started.
Oh, you'd be I mean, and not only that, I've walked into the pub and people have made a pilgrimage, like from all over the world, to come to this place. I was in there and there was some Americans in there the other day.
Wow.
That had just obviously. Made a special journey to come to the pub. Wow. So, so it's quite has a legacy behind it.
Yeah,
nice.
Definitely.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
well, give a plug when you walk in. Say you're from the Hard Rock Show in Australia, and you just want to interview.
I will do. I will do. I will do.
All right.
All
While
right.
Conrad
Now
keeps
I'm gonna.
walking- Sorry. Yep, go on.
How do I flip the camera around? I'm trying to think how I can flip it.
I don't know how you do that. While you go and work that out, I'm going to go through some comments and move on to the next song as well while you play with your technical side of things.
You know what you could do? You could just turn it in your hand, Conrad.
I'm very, very clever.
Yeah.
Yes, but we're here. We're here.
Oh,
All right.
wow.
We're here. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So, all right. I'm out the front. So as I said, it's covered in scaffold at the moment,
Oh.
but I'm out the front here.
There we go.
About to go through the. Here we go. That's cool.
Yep, solo
Yeah,
layout.
so I'm at the front of the Maiden. There's a flag up there. See, it's a Maiden fan club flag.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
And there's another flag on that side. As I said, it's covered in scaffold at the moment. We'll go
right.
in. This is
good, man.
Cart and
Oh,
Horse.
wow.
Yeah.
I'll ask if they'll let me. Bear with me.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
Hi guys. I'm doing a live stream from Australia at the moment. I'm on a hard rock show from Australia right now. Do you mind if we just do a little bit of filming in here? And
That should be all right.
is that okay? Just of the memorabilia and shit like that.
I don't think you can say shit.
On a live stream? Oh, this is a hard rock show. We swear all the time on this show.
Yes.
Yeah, you have no idea. Okay. All right, here we go. We got
Give us a tour,
90
Conrad.
Okay, this is behind me. Cart and Horses. That's Iron Maiden in 1975.
Wow.
Iron Maiden in 1975, 76. Obviously, the only member you're going to recognize there will be Steve Harris.
Mm.
But yeah, other members. There's some Maiden shit up on the walls. There's some drum skins behind me.
That's cool, man.
As you can see. Yeah, the stage used to be here on the floor somewhere. I remember a while back. Yeah, being here a while back. I hope to be DJing here soon. We got some nights coming up. Actually, after Maiden, we're going to have an after Maiden thing here because Maiden are playing about 20 minutes down the road. They're playing at the O2 Arena, which is about 20 minutes down the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So and they're playing in July. So there's some more Maiden.
Nice and close.
Really behind me.
Cool, man.
Yeah. And this is just at the end of my street. It's about 5 minute walk, less than a 5 minute walk from my house. If I could go. I did land well, actually. I landed very well. Okay, so we've got some bands coming up Friday. So there's bands playing here every Friday, Saturday night.
Cool.
Bands playing here, local bands. Yeah.
Nice.
Are you able to get downstairs or?
I'll ask if you like. I'll ask for some more cool Maiden shit. There's a lot of signed stuff. And
it's a lot in there, man.
Yeah, it's like a museum of Maiden.
Yeah,
it's like a Maiden museum.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you can buy shirts and shit. Oh my god, look at all these beers, all these beers behind me. Those are all Maiden beers.
Yeah,
those are all Maiden beers.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is cool as shit.
There we go. There's a, I don't know what that is. It looks like a guitar and it's signed by obviously Maiden. I'll ask the manager here if you'll let me go downstairs to take a look.
Yeah, you can, but it's not that it's much to see down there.
All right. Still, everybody in Australia wants to see. you have an audience in Australia wanting to see. So. Okay.
Tell them thank you, Conrad. I really appreciate it.
I will do, and they really appreciate this. They're saying thank you. Actually, I'll put you on loudspeaker.
Oh, okay, cool. That makes it easy.
So, if you like.
Whichever. Cool. There we go.
All right. There we go. This is the manager here.
Good to meet you, mate. I'll take. Give me a second here. I'll take Conrad off solo so you can see there are other people inside this call. Just so you can see us. It's not just
one less.
Not just one guy. No.
Oh wow.
But no,
check this. That's the lady.
Oh.
That's the ladies. Check that out. Wow. That's the ladies' toilets. That's fucking
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, that's
cool. Love the
and that's the gents on this, and that's the gents.
Nice. That's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. How do we get downstairs? Down here?
This way.
Oh, this way. Okay. All right.
We're getting the grand tour.
Well, these guys
Sorry, guys. I know this is disrupting your show.
No,
I hope
it's
this
all
isn't
good, man.
disrupting the show too much.
We don't do this a lot, so why not, man? It's a first for us. We have never done this
Well, there
before.
you go.
Yeah.
You're going to get a tour of where Maiden
I'm just sitting there thinking,
began.
he's going to go downstairs, and if the internet cuts out, it's going to be all for fucking nothing. So,
and it might, because underground, you never know. You never know.
Oh my God! This is the newly developed venue.
Yep.
The newly developed venue, and it is fucking awesome. It is awesome. Yeah, this is just newly built. When was this finished?
This was March.
March last year.
Wow.
This was finished. So it's
That's cool.
still all new, and
Yeah.
it's a kick-ass
good.
room. Yeah, it's about the size of the Bendy.
yeah, I was about to say,
Nice.
it looks like a neater, smaller Croxton, if that makes sense, like from this vantage point.
Yeah, it's certainly about the same size as the Bendy, I can say.
The Bendy, yeah. So about 200 cap.
Yeah, it holds 150, he says.
Okay, cool.
Maybe
Yeah, so that's a touch. Yeah, okay, cool. Nice. That's awesome.
All right. Anyway, all right. I tell you what, I'll go back to the house. Or no, we can still stream. Obviously, you guys get back on subject. I'll go back to my room, and then I'll go back on the I'll go on the laptop then, and we'll continue on. But so continue on with what you were saying.
No worries.
Right.
Cheers for that, Conrad. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Conrad. That was awesome. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, and yeah, again,
Thanks,
thanks to the people that are allowing you to do that. So I really do appreciate it.
Thank
That's
you.
fantastic.
No worries.
Thank you.
They thank you from Australia. The show says thanks. No worries.
Cool. Awesome.
All right.
Well, we'll exit the solo layout. Yep. Cool. And Conrad, we'll get back into things, and you just sort of jump in and out with whatever you need to do, and I'll bring you back in if you drop out or change out. So we'll do things that way if that works for you.
He might not be able to hear. He's just putting headphones.
Yeah, I know. I see he's changing over audio gear now. So I was just saying before that, like you do your walk and do your thing. If you drop out or change gear, then just I'll bring you back in or whatever else have you. But yeah, we'll go through some comments and I'll go through another song of the week, and then we'll get stuck into some other stuff. But yeah, this is cool. Back to the song though for Vega. Adrian said they remind me of Europe for some reason, which is kind of fair enough.
Yeah, get that.
And Nicole said, "Isn't the lead singer for Loverboy missing as well?" I'm not sure. I'm not up to speed on that one, so someone would have to look that up. I don't really know.
Like Reno, I don't know about that. Is it?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't heard anything about that. Nicole says, "Hey, Conrad." So there we go. Guy says, "Oh my God, it's Hetfield."
No, never.
It's some random dude walking through London with a blowing air into his phone with no context because the headphones are on.
They're thinking that bloke's a nutter.
Oh wow! Oh, here we go. Michael said, "Drink some Trooper and climb the scaffold." So there we go. But Nicole corrected herself, said, "No, it's the bassist." So there we go.
Okay.
Chris says, "I do a mean Aces High karaoke," which is cool. Conrad saying, "Conrad rocks." Sorry, Adrian said that, and then he also had Maiden Club. Cool. Steve Harris, great bass player. Yes, very much so. Vinny's asking how much is a Parmigiana over there. I have no idea.
They don't do them here. They don't have Palmers. Can't get Palmers.
Wow.
The only place you'll find a Parmigiana in London is probably in an Italian restaurant.
Wow.
There's newsflash, Australians. Parmigiana's Italian.
What do you
Not
say?
an Australian dish. It's not an Australian dish.
Bugger. All
They
right.
would do schnitzel, surely.
Not in pubs. No.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Not in pubs. You get burgers and chips in pubs here,
Yeah.
and pies.
Do you get the
Burgers,
floating pie?
chips, and
Yeah, the
pies.
floating pie.
Yeah, they do pies with mushy peas here.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Pies and mashed peas and mash. Yeah.
Yep.
but no, not the floater ones
Not
like
the float,
in
okay.
Australia. No,
Cool.
no.
What do we got here? Nicole says, so bloody jealous, Conrad. Michael said, awesome, Conrad. Thank you for sharing this with us, which is cool.
Yeah,
Cheers,
it's
Conrad.
awesome.
Very cool from Darren, which is nice there. Nicole says, my husband thinks I have too much maiden stuff. This proves that you can't have too much, which is a nice little touch. Sally says, you rock, Conrad. Thanks so much. And Nicole says, thanks, Mr. Manager, which is cool. Adrian said, this is really cool footage. Thanks. Mal said, Maiden Hotel, is the clock stuck on 2 minutes to midnight? So there we go.
Oh, I'll have a look next time I'm in.
If it isn't, you can suggest it. Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
I'm sure you wouldn't be the first, though.
There'll be a digital clock with 23:58, like in the Somewhere in Time album cover. Cool. That'll be absolutely
cool. But yeah, more love for it. Nicole saying thanks, Conrad. Same with Vinny saying thanks, that was awesome. And same with Darren, awesome, Conrad. Thanks. So a lot of love for that little segment there. Alrighty.
Right.
One more song of the week to get through, which is my pick for this week, which is the latest from Ragdoll. So again, in the comments, in the description, you know what to do. Check it out. But this is Ragdoll with Sky's Limit. It's the latest single from the much-loved West Australian band. Fingers crossed there's more on the horizon, but I don't know about that just yet. My song, so I'll go first. It's got a cool little video, this one. I like the way it plays off against virtual reality in it, which is a nice little touch there. You get a sort of little beepy opening, which kind of fits this whole vibe. But then straight after that, you got a meaty as fuck riff, which just sort of kicks this thing into gear. These guys have a swing all their own, and I absolutely love what they do with it. And there's heaps of space for the bass and drums in this song. These guys do it well. They're a great three-piece. They nail that aspect down every single time. But the guitar work across this song is phenomenal, but it's not overblown. It's like it gets busy during the verse, but what's driving it is the rhythm and the groove from the bass and the drums, which is just a really cool contrast song with a great, clean, melodic vocal, which is just brilliant. There's some nice little panning touches in this one too. Another great hook, which is great in the chorus. Like I said, the melody is fantastic, but again, that groove is just so infectious. Cool lyrics. These guys, as far as I'm concerned, are incapable of writing a dud song. They just can't do it. But I like the almost key change moment toward the end of the song too, which is a nice little touch there. And there's cool little drum fills in this one as well. I don't pick up on those things very often, but that got my attention in this one. But I love how you can hear every little detail in the song. It's just pushed into your focus too. I think the solo was cool. It starts off understated, but then it sort of launches as you know it can and should kind of thing. It does cap it off nicely. If you aren't aware of Ragdoll, in my opinion, unfuck that, because they are one of the best things Australia has produced. This is another cracking tune as far as I am concerned. Everything they do just gets better and better for mine. So I like the nice little bite at the very end, a little touch of aggression right at the end of the song. So I did enjoy this quite a lot. Let's go to Belle first after me on this one. So, Belle, did you check it out? What did you think?
I did. Yeah, this is my favorite of the three.
Woo-hoo.
I really, really liked it. Wasn't sure what was coming after the start, because there was a few bars and it sounded like it was something I would have created on my Casio when I was a kid. Given the clip, it kind of makes sense as well, the whole computery vibe. But then the guitars kick in with that same riff that the keyboard was doing, or whatever it was doing, and it was awesome. Like, they were really, really good. Singer has a great voice.
Yes.
He can belt out some decent high notes as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you sort of think he's, just sort of mid-range singer, and then he goes up high. I'm like, wow, that's impressive. I want to hear him do that more.
He does it a fair bit,
yeah. So impressive there. The solo was great. It was perfect, not too much. And I love the little bit of syncopation they used at the end of it to lead back into the song. I thought that was cool. Just a bit different. And I had to play this song again immediately, straight afterwards, and I loved it even more the second time. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great song.
The song drags you straight back in afterward. That's usually a good sign. So I'm stoked. So, all right, Jeff, how'd you go?
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. I've heard these guys before, so they're familiar to me. But I'm not like an expert on their work. I just thought that this song was really well done, and I liked it. And love the singer's voice. Singer's voice cuts through the mix perfectly. And that's kind of cool, because a lot of times vocals can sort of get mashed down in with the music, and they sort of lose their dynamic. Not here. This is perfect. And all the instruments, as you mentioned, all the instruments are well done, and they're very defined. And that solo, really awesome. I like at first when I was watching the virtual reality thing, and then I saw the guy walk out, and it was on the yellow background. It reminded me of Blade Runner 2049.
Yes, yeah.
And I'm like, what? Okay, what are they doing here? I didn't go that way, but it had that. Maybe that's what they intended, because just that one visual, like what's going on here?
Interesting shot, yeah.
Yeah, I really liked it. I thought it was kind of cool, and they did. It was unique. Not often you see musicians in a video with virtual reality headsets on and stuff like that, so it was kind of cool. I enjoyed it, and thematically it was interesting. And I don't know. You said that this is like a resurgence, sort of a single thing from them.
Oh, they keep dropping bits and pieces here and there. They did an album a few years ago, which is absolutely phenomenal. They've got some singles and some EP kind of stuff since then, which has just been really cool as well.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that it continues in that vein, because it's really good. I enjoyed it a lot. Yep, really good stuff. Thanks, guys. Cool. Yeah. No, more than welcome. Dave, I know you're a fan.
Oh yeah, I love this band. I've seen them live a few times, and always deliver great shows. Songs are always good. And this is just right up there with everything else they've done. It's fucking great. Interesting lyrics. I'm falling wide awake again. That just messes with your head, but it's like deep at the same time. It's like, oh, okay, I like this.
They've always been good at that. Yeah.
They really have. And as everyone's mentioned, the singer's vocals are fantastic. Guitar riffs are fantastic, and the solo. Wow, no one's mentioned the wah pedal yet. Holy shit, Kirk would be really happy with this. But yeah, it's tastefully done, and it really nice tone. And it's like in the video how he's just shoving it in your face. That shit's cool. But yeah, if you like Ragdoll, you'll be impressed with this. If you haven't heard it, great place to start.
Yep. Agree.
Yep.
Did you have a chance to check this one out, Conrad, at all, or is that just beyond your remit this week?
Which one? I checked it out. There was one that I think the first one that was listed. I'll just have a look now. That was the first
Halo?
one. Yeah. That one I liked. I liked that one. That was good. I really enjoyed that. And that Vega,
yeah.
Really enjoyed that as well. That was great. Nice. So those two I thoroughly enjoyed, and the obviously the Paul Gilbert Dio thing as well. But that's as far as I've gotten with
cool.
Sorry, apologies for that.
No, that's all good. I was just curious. I wasn't expecting anything there. I was just curious to see how you got along with that at all. But that's cool. At least you got to enjoy the other two, which is fantastic. Like that's the whole point of it. So, that was cool. Let's get to some comments quickly here. Adrian's gone, I love the guitar tone. Yeah, they've got a killer guitar tone. Vinny says, loving this, which is cool. Nicole says, love this guy's voice, which is getting a lot of love for that. Rowan says, pretty cool. Adrian said, the beginning was soundtrack for Revenge of the Nerds, but guitar kicked in. It was cool. So there we go. Sally said, yeah, it was great when it kicked in. Had a quick listen, but good stuff. Nice. Andrew said, good, solid track. They sound extremely tight for a three-piece. They are. And they're great live, too, if you get a chance to see them. And Darren chimed in saying, Dave, all about the wah, which is true.
Right. And the flanger.
And flanger. Flanger more than wah, I reckon, these days.
Yeah.
Are these guys
and excessive guitar solos.
Yeah. They're Aussies.
Yeah,
Domestic.
WA from Perth.
Okay.
So, yeah. For Ragdoll. Been around for a while. Back to Zero is their album, and it's absolutely phenomenal. It's a few years old. They've done some EPs and around it. Yeah, that album, Back to Zero, still play that all the time. I love it to bits. I think it's one of the best ones Australia has produced for quite some time. So that's me personally. But yeah,
I'm just switching over to the laptop. So I'm coming off and then
all good.
Yeah,
all good. All right. Well, while Conrad switches his gear around, let's do something different. We usually have a little mini game,
right?
And this mini game is inspired by a real game this week. Iron Maiden announced that they are releasing their own Monopoly version, or a version of theirs, which is Monopoly, whatever, take what you mean of it. We looked it up. There's what did we find earlier on, Dave? We found that Metallica, Kiss, Maiden, main ones that have done it. Basically the idea was, since Iron Maiden decided to jump in and do a I like this, you can't see it on screen, people, but Conrad's changed his name to Chewbacca on his login screen. There we
go.
There we go. But anyway, the idea here, for those playing along at home, is that we decided then to go and find a band and try to build basically a Monopoly thing out of it. And it was very loose premise. I don't know where this is going to go. And I know that some people struggled more with it than others, but I know that Dave's got something prepared. The idea was to try and be as original as possible. So Dave, what have you got?
Okay, so my first thought was Steel Panther. That would be a lot of fun. Jail would be pussy whipped. You know, you pull over the card, your girl cut off your nuts, straight to pussy whipped. But I didn't go with that. I thought it'd be a little bit more creative and a little bit more darker. So what better for a Monopoly game than Wednesday 13? That would be fucking great. So Jail is the morgue. Nice. Chance, we'll rename them to bad things. So you pull a chance card and you're like, you've been killed by the ghost of Vincent Price, lose a turn. Or you nail the G.I. Joe to a crucifix, have another turn. Yeah. And then the other one's like community chest, that can be ghost stories. And you turn one of them over and it says, your mother sucks cocks in hell, collect $20.
Boom.
Nice.
She's getting paid for that. Yeah.
This is great.
So obviously,
what is wrong with you?
I have no shame and no filter.
Oh, great. This is great.
So houses and hotels, obviously gravestones. Stations and all that shit would be the mortuary and the cemetery. Yeah. The playing pieces have to be a hearse, a coffin, vampire fangs, an axe, a shovel, a crucifix, and a screwdriver from that EP.
Screwdriver, definitely.
Okay. So property is going to be a selection of songs from Frankenstein Drag Queens, Murder Dolls, early Wednesday 13, and later Wednesday 13. So the first side would be early songs like Rambo and Scary Song. The second side is Dead in Hollywood and 1976-66, Die My Bride. Third side is like early solo Wednesday 13, like Haunt Me and Bloodsucker and House by the Cemetery. And on the fourth side, you got Omen, Amen, and Necrophase and that type of shit. So I think Wednesday 13 Monopoly's definitely got a market.
Nice. Well done, man. You got a lot of detail into that. That's cool. That's going to be pretty hard to beat, I reckon.
Not suitable for children.
No, not suitable for children. No. But then again, we're not really suitable for children, so it's okay.
No, we're not.
Yeah, that's funny. You upload when you have videos on YouTube. They have this. Is this program made for kids? We definitely don't tick the yes box.
No.
We do not tick the yes box. All right. Jeff, you were saying you were struggling a little bit with this one. How did you get?
I was struggling a lot with this. Maybe it was just I wasn't in that frame of mind. Yeah. I don't know. I'm normally very creative because I write and very creative. But it was and kind of caught me off guard. My initial thought was like do one like Motley Crue, right? So you have like you got the board where they started at the Whiskey a Go Go, and then when you go down the street to their apartment, and that would be another, go to jail. I don't know. All the times when Vince went and, did the manslaughter charge in the car, going directly to jail.
That's a free parking spot.
I mean, so it's a little bit macabre there, but hey.
Set on Sunset Strip then.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So I don't know. That was kind of what just came to mind. It didn't really put much thought into it, but
no, that's cool.
It's
houses can be heroin.
Yeah, that's right. Bags of heroin. Yeah, that's right. So I don't know. Like this was a tough one for me. Maybe it was just, but
just a random bit of fun. It really was.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. I struggled. Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's all good. Like I didn't expect this to be anything huge. Like I think Dave nailed it and went above and beyond. So
massive.
Seeing what happens there. But, Belle, have you got anything?
Yeah, I've only got a little bit because I didn't spend much time. If I had a longer time, I probably would because sort of ideas kept popping in and out of my head, but I only really got down just a short few before we came on, of course. So I thought it would be cool if there was a King Diamond Monopoly special edition.
Yeah,
because there's a lot you can do with that. I just don't have it down. But feel free to pile on when I get through my very short list. So on the box, you'd have instead of the Monopoly guy and his top hat, you'd have King Diamond in his top hat with his own microphone stand doing some King Diamond pose. That would be cool. I'd buy it just for the box.
Yep.
Go instead of go, it's called Welcome Home, and you don't get your $200 for passing go or Welcome Home unless you belt out the first line of Welcome Home.
House rules. There we go.
Instead of jail, you get locked up in the asylum.
Cool.
And to get out, you either need to roll a double or go and make everyone a cup of tea. And then things dried up a bit and I ran out of time. So, but there's so much you can do. Like, think of all the properties,
cool.
and chance cards and stuff.
Cool.
Kind of along the lines of actually the Wednesday 13 thing, because I think there's a lot of crossover themes in that.
Yeah, there would be. That's cool.
I like it.
That's a nice idea. Well done. Conrad, did you have any time to play with this at all, or?
No, not as yet. Shit, fuck off, whoever you are. Somebody's calling me from Australia.
Wow. I saw you on the stream, dude.
He's calling me from Australia right now. Hopefully they won't. Hopefully they won't watch it. Fuck off, whoever you are. I haven't had a chance to think about this. I think did Queen do one?
I don't think so, but
they
that would
should.
be cool.
I think
that would
Queen
be awesome.
might have done one. Queen would be good.
Queen would be a good one, yeah.
I didn't see anything when I looked it up, but yeah.
There's a lot of history there, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Queen would be good. Definitely.
My thought was, sorry, I didn't interrupt. It's just that this is fucking tough. If it was easy, every band would have one, and this is why I struggled.
That's true.
So obviously, you need locations. You need locations where bands have actually started out, like obviously AC/DC, Maiden, and things like that, and obviously Motley Crue with Sunset Strip and things like that. So you can locate it to certain suburbs and things like that, which is great. So you'd need that, and obviously a history behind the band, a story behind the band as well. So for those, with those bands, definitely that have a good story behind them and things like that. So maybe Aerosmith as well, Boston.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Set that in Boston. Van Halen. I don't know, Van Halen. I'd say any of the big sort of classic, big classic bands that have got a good story behind them. So I'd go with Queen. I think it'd be a good one.
That'd be a good one. It's not my pick.
I haven't had a thought as into
that's all right.
You would
it was
into the
really
actual...
this was really a throwaway, just sort of see what happens kind of thing. It was just sort of let's see what the fuck happens, and it's just fun to get this sort of a bit of a conversation. Not my pick, but while you were talking there, Conrad, the Beatles came to mind. The amount of places they referenced, that would be phenomenal. Like you could do so much with the Beatles.
But there's an AC/DC one too.
Stones, another one. So all those classics would be great. But my actual pick is Motorhead.
Cool.
I think when it comes to the opening, the box art, you could even have to pick an album cover or just use Snaggletooth. But there's 28 properties on the Monopoly board. So I think that between albums, tours, the studio albums, the live albums, you could use any mix and match of that. They've got more than you can shake a stick at. You can start off with some of the dodgiest of their compilations, sort of work your way around to the sort of, Ace of Spades album, to what, which would be your Park Lane Mayfair kind of thing and that kind of stuff. But I would change the railroads over to the pokies or slots machines. That's what I would do with the railroads. For the utilities, you've got Jack Daniels and cigarettes. That's what you got.
Jack Daniels and Marlboro.
Right. For the community chest cards, you swap those over to road crew cards. For chance, it's got to be Ace of Spades. When you land on luxury tax, it says eat the rich. When you land on income tax, it says no class. You go square is no sleep till Hammersmith. When you're at the jail or the visiting, it's killed by death.
Nice.
The free parking is Hellraiser. When it says go to jail, it's actually bad magic. And for the tokens, you could use instruments. So you got your bass, the guitar, and the drum set. But then you got the bomber. You've got the iconic Lemmy mic stand. You got Snaggletooth. You've got the Ace of Spades itself, a bottle of JD, a slot machine, a pack of smokes. This
Iron
whole thing
Fist.
goes on.
Iron Fist.
Yeah. It goes on and on and on. So I just think, I haven't gone quite as much as what Dave did there, but that's kind of where my mind went to when it came to doing a Motorhead sort of Monopoly thing there, which I thought that'd be kind of cool.
One of the train stations could be Orgasmatron.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Nice.
There. You've got heaps there to play with. I just think that there's such a body of work across all the years of what they've released that you could do plenty with Motorhead. So I just thought that'd be a bit of fun to see what we could do with that this week. What do we got here? So Adrian says, no way, I'm buying the Iron Maiden Monopoly board. Happy hunting. David cool. Saying, hey, all good to see you, buddy. Hopefully you'll keep well. Nicole says, woohoo, I think hubby has ordered Maiden one for me. Nice. I spotted it on his computer screen. He quickly switched screens. He better have. I hope he has to. He better have in about 3 seconds flat. Yeah. So Adrian's gone pussy whipped is funny. So there we go. Vinny says, classic Exorcist line, Dave.
I fucking love that song. It's so funny.
Darren's replied, leave Dave alone, Conrad. He was dropped at birth. So there we go.
Wow.
Baby.
He keeps falling off his chair, so who knows? So Vinny says, it's got to be better than a Black Lives Matter edition of Monopoly where every roll lands you in jail. Wow. Vinny.
Oh, man.
On a roll tonight.
No line, remember?
That's
got
no mic drop. Mic drop.
We do not endorse everyone's comments. We just read them out.
That's right.
Avoid the cancellation brigade. Nicole says, Sabaton
every time
Monopoly
you go past
cool.
go, you lose $200.
This is cool. Sabaton Monopoly would be cool. Tanks and planes and guns, but all the historical.
That'd be cool.
You could have a lot of fun with that. Andrew says Go should release a version Monopoly themed on a church. That would be interesting as well, actually.
That's cool.
BP, Alice Cooper Monopoly. That would be fun.
I'm surprised Dave didn't do Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, actually.
Too obvious.
No, BP's gone THRS Monopoly. We're too drunk. You couldn't drive anything straight. Adrian says King Diamond board game. Very cool. That would be a nice one. There we go. Nicole says nice one, Bill. That does sound cool.
It does.
Man Family says a Risk would be even better.
Oh,
yeah.
Risk game. Yeah.
Yeah, Risk. Yeah. That would be interesting, actually. That could be interesting. Definitely. Follow it up with Risk for hard rock bands, Origins of the Territories of all the pieces and instruments.
Yeah.
That would be to put that together. Yeah, I've got an old board game kicking around like Axis and Allies. Yeah.
Someone like Maiden as well to do.
Yeah.
With all the
different tours could sort of go
all the conquering and conquering and taking.
Just think about Sabaton in that context. Like Sabaton would just smoke it. Rowan says, okay, how about if the pieces were record labels, Metal Blade, Nuclear Blast, Roadrunner, and all the locations of bands, Queen, Guns N' Roses, Slipknot. If you land on a band, you're paying to see their show. That's pretty cool. That's a really cool concept.
We should get together.
Rowan, you should copyright that. That's a good idea.
You saw it here first.
Yes, that's it.
We want royalties. We want royalties.
Yes, new low, Vinny. Adrian says, I like it, which is a good one. And Mel says, Andy, that was brilliant. So, yeah, we're getting a lot of good ideas kicking forth with this one, which is nice. Let us know if you got any thoughts either now or later on, by all means. But we're going to move on to the next segment of the show tonight, which is to move on to our Build a Band idea.
Oh, yes.
So this is the fun part now. So as we've discussed in the past, the 5 bands to choose from are Motley Crue, Warrant, Rat, Skid Row, and The Sweet. We're going to go through and choose. What are we going to choose here? We're going to choose. We've done drums and one guitar already. We're going to do bass tonight. And in the weeks, we're going to do another guitar, vocals, producer, artwork, and just see what happens from there. The idea here is that we have to have at least 3 out of the 5 bands represented by the time we get done with our lineup. So we still have a bit of time to play with things yet. Whoever goes last week goes first this week. So it sort of rotates through and goes down through the order. Before we get choosing our picks for this week, let's recap because so far, I've chosen Jimmy DeGrasso on drums and my guitarist so far is Jake E. Lee. Dave picked on drums Randy Castillo and on guitar Dave Snake Sabo. Jeff has picked Tommy Lee on drums and Michael Schenker on guitar. Bell picked Mick Tucker on drums and Mick Mars on guitar. Likes the mix, apparently. And then Conrad has chosen Robert Fuso on drums and Warren DeMartini on guitar so far. So just to recap the scores overall. So for last round, it was actually Dave went first. And he got about 4% of the vote. So it didn't go as well as it could have done for Dave.
Wow.
So Dave gets 10 points for his Dave Snake Sabo picks, which puts him on 60 in total. Conrad chose Warren DeMartini, which actually did better, got 16% of the vote, which equals 30 points for Conrad. So Conrad is sitting tied with Dave on 60 points as well. So not considering where Conrad's come from with having like last picks, he's not doing too badly, so very well done there. Then we have Bell chose... what have I got here? Hang on. That's just completely screwed me over there. Bell has chosen Mick Mars from Motley Crue on that one. So just to recap there, that gave her 12% of the vote for this week, which gives her 20 points for this week, which puts her on 70 points in total. Which means then it comes down to seeing who the winner is between my pick of Jake E. Lee and Jeff's pick of Michael Schenker. Michael Schenker got 31% of the vote, which gives Jeff 40 points, which puts him on 80 in total. So I actually lucked out again. I got 37% of the vote with Jake E. Lee, so it gave me 50 points for the top score and puts me on 90 in total. But still, pretty even across the board. So
Absolutely.
We're having some fun with this one. So that's where we're at so far. So let's just see how we go this week. So Bell went last week. So Bell gets first crack at choosing a bassist this week. So who are you taking, Bell?
Rachel Bolan.
Nice. That's a pick. Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick from what's on offer.
That's a very good pick.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to get. That's what I was going to get.
I think that's pretty much everyone's first choice there. So nicely done, Rachel. On picking Rachel there, Bell. So awesome. All right, Dave, you get to pick second this week. What are you going for?
All righty. Well, since the guy of the girl's name is gone, let's go for another guy of the girl's name. Well, kind of this Nicky Six. He cops a lot of shit, but he's a decent bass player and he's a good songwriter too. So yeah, happy to have Nicky Six in my band.
Yeah.
All right.
It's good business.
Cool.
Good pick. Yep.
Good pick. Yeah, that was up there for mine as well, which is unfortunate. Just for the record too, by the way, when it came to picking guitarists, Jody was going to go with Mick Mars, just so everyone knows there. So that was her choice. I get to go third this week, and I have to go different because my last two picks have been with Rat, so I have to choose something different anyway. So I am going to take from Warrants, I'm going to take Jerry Dixon. That's going to be my pick. Yep. I'm going to take that one off the board there, which means, Jeff, it's over to you next.
Okay, well, there's only one choice. Queensrÿche.
Yeah.
Rat. Yep.
And also Dokken, which is a good little.
Yeah.
Good
yeah, that's right. So, but Wanza, he was just a absolute beast of a bass player in Rat. So, yeah.
Yep. All right. Conrad, you get to go first next week, but have you got a choice?
Well, I only actually knew the names of Rachel Boland and Nicky Six. Those are the two I knew the names of. So I'll have to take the suite, won't I? Because the others are all taken.
Yeah, Steve Priest or Mel McNulty.
Yep. All right. Now, who else did either of those guys play with?
Steve. Yeah, they've only pretty much done the suite.
I think just Steve, suite, yeah.
Yeah, and Steve is the main one as well, I think. From
that's right. Well, Steve's passed on. Mal's still playing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll go for the guy that's still alive.
Oh, you're going for Mel McNulty?
Well, he's still alive, so I've got to go with him.
He is alive. Yeah. Steve Priest is probably the more famous of the two, though.
Yeah, but there's no point putting a dead person in your band.
Wouldn't be the first one. It
could be.
You can.
Weekend at Bernie's. It's up to you.
Yeah.
All right. I'll go with the classic guy then.
All right.
Just prop him up.
I had a dead drummer in my band, and I think someone's guitarist last week.
Absolutely.
There was no rules on that, Conrad. It was just a case of no matter how tenuous their link is to a band, they can be in. So There's no.
Dave's got a dead drummer in his band right now. Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. All right.
So, yep.
So I'll take that.
There we go. So just to quickly recap here, Bell has taken Rachel Boland, Dave has taken Nikki Sixx, I've taken Jerry Dixon, Jeff take Juan Crucia, and Conrad has Steve Priest. So we'll do a poll on that. Don't give us your votes now. You can go in the comments and say what you want, but yeah, we'll do a poll on this one in the coming days and we'll tally it up and go off. Just for the record, this week, that post on Twitter went absolutely fucking bonkers. Like, that's the most insane engagement we've had on Twitter for ages, which was actually a pleasant surprise. So that was a different one there. What do we got here in the comments? Adrian says, love Jake Healy's work on Bark at the Moon. Yeah, it gets a lot of love.
Yeah,
seminal work.
Rat in early days, or should I say Mickey Rat? Well, there we go. So that's all getting around there. Nicole says Steve Priest only died 3 years ago. Yeah, it was relatively recent. So
that's right.
Not to make light of it all. It's just a bit of fun here overall we're trying to do. Alrighty. So that brings us
next week's singers. Next week is singers.
Next week is going to be guitarist number 2. So another guitarist. Okay. So we'll pick out another guitarist, and then that'll give us our twin axe attack for these lineups as we go through them. All right. We've actually made relatively good time on this one tonight. So now it's time to get to the main event of the evening, which will get the ding, 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 get the wrestling outfits on and get the spandex out and the gloves.
Let's get ready to rumble.
Because we can't say that, Dave. We'll get sued. But we're going to do King of the Riff now. It's our concept albums round 7 for King of the Riff this week. Sees Queensrÿche Operation Mindcrime go up against Dream Theater's Metropolis Parts 2 Scenes from Memory. This will be interesting. Dave called it. Well, what did Julia say about you last night, Dave?
I'm going to rock and roll hell.
Yes. For some comments you've made on your content as you've come through and sent those videos in there. Darren says, on that, Rob Halford could be picked for Black Sabbath. I have looked into that. Yes, he absolutely could. And a few other things too, by the way. But in the comments, there's a couple of reference tracks for you now. One from Queensrÿche, one from Dreams Theater. It's also in the description box too, whenever you get around to it. So if you're not watching live, you can check it all out at your leisure. But yeah, this is one of the semifinals, as you put it, Dave. So this one, and then next week, and then the winner of this week, and the winner of next week go through to the finale in 2 weeks' time. So we're nearly at the end of this concept album series. We're getting there, folks, but let's get through this one now. And let's just get this one out of the way. Dave, kick us off. Why are you voting for Dream Theater? We all know that.
Can I go last? Can I go last in case I bore the shit out of people?
No, go first.
Oh, fuck. Okay. I'm going to start with Queensrÿche. Okay. I'm going to piss people off first. As I said previously, half of this album is fantastic. I loved it when I first heard it, but as time went on, I just went straight to Revolution Calling, Fruits of the Mission, and then, of course, Eyes of the Stranger. Great setup, but the album loses me in the second part. I was wondering why that was, and apart from not giving a shit about any of these characters and having absolutely no emotional connection to any of them at any point when I listened to this album, unlike so many other albums on this list,
okay, yeah,
I just don't care about them. Caused me to really dig into the story in the last couple of weeks and try and figure out what it is.
Yeah.
Now, reading a few online synopses about Operation Mindcrime, from my understanding, I could be wrong, okay, the word Mindcrime is what triggers Nikki to becoming the docile puppet of Dr. X.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, where he mindlessly carries out what he's been told to do. So halfway through the album, Dr. X tells him to kill Mary. Why does Nikki question it? It appears he's not under the Mindcrime and become the docile puppet. Why would Dr. X give him free will? It seems really out of character.
Okay.
I'll explain that later, Dave. I'll explain it
later.
Okay,
now I can go on. I'll go on. Okay. If Mary's a risk because Nikki told her everything, he knows Nikki cares about her. So once again, why did he give him a choice? So it goes on. Nikki kills the priest. There's no big loss there. The guy's a scumbag. He can't kill Mary because he loves her. Okay. So at this point, Nikki knows Dr. X considers Mary to be a risk and wants her dead. Instead of them just both packing their bags and getting the fuck out of town, or them both going to confront Dr. X and saying, we want out, Mary stays there alone in a place where Dr. X knows where she is with a dead priest right next door. She can't fucking stay there. She's not a real nun. And fucking Nikki goes back to see Dr. X and says, I know you wanted me to kill her, but I'm not going to. And I'm going to let you know that I didn't kill her, so you can go and kill her yourself. Meanwhile, Mary does fucking die. Nikki's taken a long way home. It's fucking stupid. Once you dig into this, it makes no sense. It's a fantastic setup.
Hang on. Just quickly, there's the guy who's going to wax lyrical in a second about past lives coming back and being repeated again. But anyway.
Okay. Now, there is an ambivalence to the cause of Mary's death. Really not revealed in the album if it was Nikki, Dr. X, or suicide.
Yeah.
In subsequent live performances, they do offer different clues and different explanations.
Yeah.
In cinematic versions, videos played in early concerts, there were shots of Dr. X approaching Mary with a rosary wrapped around his hands, implying strangulation. In 2004 concerts, there's a video where she gets a Mindcrime call herself and kills herself. I like this idea. This is a good one. It's a nice twist and it works. However, in 2006, when they toured the sequel and the original album together, it's revealed Mary killed herself after Dr. X threatened to kill Nikki, which raises the question, how the fuck is Dr. X in two places at once? Because Nikki was just talking to him.
It's not linear, Dave. It's not like fucking seconds by going.
I don't.
This isn't 24.
Every other concept album on this list has logic in its narrative. This doesn't. The setup is great. It falls apart. And if this is supposed to be the greatest of all time, it's not. On the surface, it's a very easily digestible story. Once you dig deeper, there are a lot of holes. This is why it's never been adapted into a movie. A director can only film what's written. This would be laughed out of a fucking producer's office. You could get away with a lot in 1988. In 1988, a lot of things were story-driven, not character-driven. Okay. Another question. Our introduction to Nikki says, for a price, I'd do almost anything except pull the trigger. So we can assume he's not military and has no experience with guns, yeah? Yeah?
It's America. It is America.
Yeah, maybe. So sniper would be probably the best method to assassinate.
That need a pretty good cause. So in other words, you'd have to convince him to do it, and then he would do it.
Okay. Yeah. My point being, how the fuck is he assassinating politicians and getting away with it afterwards? Because I can't imagine it'd be all that easy to get close. Yes, he's a docile puppet, which makes it even less likely that he'd be able to escape because you need some wits to get away from all the security who's just gone fucking nuts after assassinating a politician.
I don't think you meant to analyze it this deeply, Dave.
Well, I did. I did, because this is supposed to be the greatest concept album ever. It's got so many. It's got more fucking holes than Swiss cheese.
Yeah, but they weren't expecting people to pull it apart and dissect it like you.
Well, they should. They really should. And the other thing that I realized that bothers me, there is no recurring.
I didn't expect Dave to do this.
Yeah, there is one thing that sets this apart from a lot of other concept albums. There's no recurring theme or musical motif. They're not taking full advantage of what you can musically do with a concept album. It's music set to narration, or narration set to music. Yes, the music complements the emotion of the story, but you could do so much more. And a lot of other concept albums do a lot more.
Yeah,
so, sorry to pick it apart so much, but it's been put on this pedestal, and I want it to match that, and it doesn't. It never has for me.
That's it.
Now.
Oh, here we go. Flip side of the coin.
Yeah, I got to scroll back a few fucking pages for Dream Theater. So
you really need some wine.
Okay,
man. You really need some wine.
Dream Theater again. I had to figure out how I was going to approach this review because I could do it in a lot of different ways. Could I review this in relation to the band's history, or do a music theory lesson, or just focus on the storyline? Reality is, this is probably the last time I'm ever going to get to talk about this album, so fuck it, I'm doing all three. I'm sorry.
Nice.
First,
strap in, folks. Buckle up.
Strap in, enjoy, get some popcorn, crack open a fresh beer. Right. Released in 1999, Metropolis Part 2 actually started its life in 1996 as part of the sessions for Falling Into Infinity. They recorded a 22-minute demo, about half of which was tightened up and edited and became Overture 1928 and parts of Dance of Eternity. The other half was sadly left out, which is a shame because there's some really cool stuff there. But if you think Dream Theater can't edit, listen to that. Now, let's focus on the storyline for a while. As we all know, the album, Act 1, Opens with regression, the ticking from speaker to speaker. Great opening and introduction to our unknown protagonist at this point, undergoing hypnotic regression. This is set in the present, and musically, the chord progression would be called Nicholas's theme. This will pay off later. Now, we get down to business with Overture 1928, which starts off with a very similar riff to the original song. However, this is in D, not in E. It's in D, and it's going to quickly switch to Lydian. Yeah, I'll get to Lydian in a sec. Overture references parts of the original song and melodies from this album, including Dance of Eternity. Now, very quickly in this song, we shift to Lydian, which is a cool mode because it's major, but it has a tritone, which promotes tension, which we're going to have for the majority of the album. Yeah. They do shift to other modes and different keys as it goes along, but this is basically our harmonic theme. Strange Deja Vu, now we get an introduction to our characters. Nicholas is undergoing regression, subconscious strange sensation and so forth, due to having nightmares and visions of people unknown and places he'd never been to. We hit the past with that closer now line. In terms of production, you'll hear James's vocals have now doubled with an almost feminine tone, very, very deeply hidden the mix. This is Victoria coming into Nicholas's conscious. They're synced together. Something has happened and there's a mystery to be solved. We've established this so far. The vocals are now completely doubled with Tonight I've Been Searching For. This is just Victoria's line. And that's why James has a feminine tone. There's a bit of a shift in energy as that new riff kicks in with the one of the harmonics. You'll know what I'm talking about if you know the song. We're back in the present, back on my feet again. Nicholas's therapy is helping. He's motivated to find out who this woman in his dreams is. Could he be her reincarnation? Nice use of mirroring lines for each character. Tonight I'm searching for, today I'm searching for, versus Victoria's, versus Nicholas. Okay, we move into Through My Words. Nice short piece. Shows Nicholas's acceptance that he might be linked to this woman in the past. Her memories are etched within his, showing one eternity, gonna pay off later. Fatal Tragedy. Hypnosis is awakening more things in his mind, so he continues to have nightmares. He can't sleep, and he's drawn away from his home. Probably not exactly sure where he's going, but he finds a house that's very familiar to him. Here he meets an old man and learns that Victoria didn't just die, she was murdered. She was young, tragic ending, mystery still unsolved to this day. Now, there's theories that this old man, who's not credited in the actual album under the cast, that he might be another reincarnate of someone from the past. Now, we're 5 songs into a Dream Theater album. 5 songs. It's time for some musical wankery. What they do in this instrumental section is fucking awesome. It's called Shrink and Grow. You could also refer to it as regression and progression. The whole theme of this is regression. They're a progressive metal band. Nice little pun there that I like, but this riff is referred to as the Shrink and Grow. Basically, we have riff A, which goes for 4 bars. Then we have a variation on the original riff from the original song, the Metropolis riff, we'll call it, which is actually in E now, so we've brought that back. And then we have riff B. Now that that's all established, it's time for the solo section. We have riff A for 4 bars, and then riff B for 4 bars. The next repeat, we drop the first bar, and have riff A. Then we drop the first bar of riff B, and it shrinks, regressing back. Riff A could be Nicholas, riff B can be Victoria. Now that overall that, we have a guitar solo. So now that we've regressed, we can't just leave it there. It has to resolve. Okay, musically, it would feel fucking strange. So you build it back up and have a keyboard solo, which is cool. Now, if you ended it there, it would also sound strange. So you have that little progressive notes going up and then going down. Nicholas is not really getting anywhere in his journey. It's frustrating. So it just ends. And then we get into Beyond This Life. We learn that Victoria's death was part of a murder-suicide. The article from this news article this whole thing's based on is based on an account of an eyewitness. The man shot the woman, then shot himself. All of which is bullshit. This is all made up. This pays off again later. This is not what happened. We're also set up for the end of the story with our deeds have traveled far. What we have been is what we are. This is important because it pays off the twist at the end. We get a lot of character development as well. Victoria's relationship with Julian has broken up. She can't love a wayward man. He's into gambling, drinking, possibly narcotics as well. There's still a lot of questions to be answered with that line. All we have learned this time is carry beyond this life, further setting up our twist at the end. The long instrumental section with duels between the keys and the guitar, as well as an excellent solo from Petrucci, possibly one of his best ever, with some wah Kirk Hammett would be proud, and so am I. But this solo starts off with some really cool fucking phrases, and it really develops into his shred style. So if you think he just goes for the fucking money shot, this one just builds up. This is an amazing section. Okay, now we're into Through Her Eyes. Now, did you know that John Petrucci is actually a really good chef? The only spice he doesn't use is common thyme. However, think about it. Common thyme.
Oh my God, Dave. I don't think anyone's keeping up with your fucking way.
Hey,
my Petrucci jokes.
Keep going. Scared.
Okay, so we're in the present now. Through Her Eyes, Nicholas feels sorry for the tragic death of Victoria. He's accepted his connection between them, and things are getting clear for him while working to uncover this mystery. He finds a grave and feels he can move on with his life if he finds out the mystery of what actually happened to her. We also learn the motivation for him to fix his life with that little line, he's got a wife, he's got a son. We know he's got something to live for now. There's character motivation. It really does help to have some motivation for these people. Now, it's not obvious because it's performed slower and without strict time, but the chord progression at the start of this song is the same as regression, Nicholas's theme from the very start. We also resolve back from Lydian to D major. The tension has come to an end, and it's a nice way to close Act 1. Nice bookend. So Act 2, we start with the excellent song Home. We're still in D. We're actually adding some extra notes to give it that Middle Eastern flavor. And Petrucci's in drop D tuning, so you got that heavy D on the top. It's possibly the only time he's ever done this, but he's not dominated by the limitations of this technique. There's really only one part where he uses the one finger chord string, and that riff is actually really cool. And the use of the wah on that open riff to just fuck with the frequency of the D note, really cool. There's a lot of musical and lyrical references to the original Metropolis song. Ties them in. Each of our characters is in a moment of conflict. Set in the past, you got the sleeper, Julian. He has his demons, addiction, remorse, needs to clean up his act. Time to go home, fix himself. The miracle, Edward, was a shoulder to cry on for Victoria when her relationship fell apart with his brother. Then they became a lot more. He loves her, he plans to marry her. He's conflicted because he loves Victoria. He wants Victoria to be his home, but it's his brother. In the present, Nicholas still obsessed with finding the truth so he can fix his home. In the middle of the song, we get some sex. No, it's a common misconception that a lot of Dream Theater fans are virgins and therefore wouldn't know what these noises are. They might assume Victoria has a stomach ache or something, but in reality, once you've gotten off to a polyrhythm, you don't want it any other way, baby. Now, the closing moments of this story of this song are fucking awesome. Okay, so I was already a big fan of LD Miola before I heard this, and Dream Theater doing that type of shit, it's like Metallica meets old LD Miola. So if you like both those bands, there's no reason why you wouldn't love this. Okay, Dance of Eternity. Who the fuck's like instrumentals anyway? We should just cut Orion from Master of Puppets and Transylvania from Iron Maiden and YYZ from Moving Pictures. Fuck instrumentals. So what's the point of this brilliant instrumental giant of a song? Wow. Firstly, the title of itself is the closing line to the original song, Love is the Dance of Eternity. Perfect placing in this concept album. There are also some spiritual concepts surrounding the phrase Dance of Eternity that I only just recently found out. It represents nature's way of taking and giving back to the earth. It also represents an infinite nature of energy, meaning that when something dies, it gives life to another, which is fucking brilliant in the context of this story. Now, all characters are at their moment of turmoil. Victoria's cheated on Julian. Julian needs to fix his addictions. Nicholas has uncovered as much as he can. It's a roller coaster of emotions, which is represented by a lot of these musical passages. There's also parts of, like one riff will have section A and section B to it, which represents two different characters. Some parts also imply the whole one step forward, two steps back. All there musically. There's a key change halfway through where we go to C major, no sharps or flats, and it's pretty much a straightforward driving towards the end. Things are clearing up. More musical references to the original song. Now, one last time, we're back in the present. It's time to wrap things up. Nicholas has found Edward's old home, place of many of his visions, place feels familiar to him. He knows he can't get any further in his quest to unlock the truth. Still a lot of questions that he might not know. He's uncovered some rumors as well. There's a line, a taste of one's wealth. Very important to our closing moments. Further sets up something, more on that later. In the past, Victoria does the one last time, her last time with Edward before she ends that. Now, the spirit carries on. We're back in the present. Nicholas, calm, resolved, reflective, accepting. I may never find all the answers. As with Through Her Eyes, we have the addition of the wonderful Teresa Thompson's vocals. Interesting that they have a guest singer, but she doesn't handle all of Victoria's vocals throughout. There's a reason for that. Every time she appears, we're in the present. James handles all of Victoria from the past. Yeah. It's a way of having a spiritual connection between the woman and the man, both with different vocalists. Works very well. Yeah, finally free. We're almost there. Now, Nicholas is finished with his hypnotic regression therapy and heads home. Time for the audience to learn the truth of what happens, which Nicholas doesn't know. This is just for our benefit. And the past, the miracle, Edward, Friday evening, blood still on my hands. This takes place directly after the murder. We learn that Victoria left Edward, returned to Julian. Edward killed them both and covered it up with a fake suicide note, which was referenced in earlier in this thing. Great use of the luring, this feeling inside me. They all get one. Now, we backtrack a little bit to earlier in that day. Victoria, feeling good this Friday afternoon, I ran into Julian. Julian the Sleeper, one last time. He gets the death part. That's a reference to the song previously. Now it's the last time that they'll lay together. They're dead. Dying moment. He doesn't get this feeling first, which is cool. The sound bites detail the murder. Julian first, then Victoria with the open your eyes, Victoria. Back in the present, Nicholas. This feeling chorus, he gets that calm, peaceful, time to move on again. The song fades out. We get the sound effects of Nicholas at home. An unknown person enters and kills Nicholas with the open your eyes, Nicholas. This is the hypnotherapist and the reincarnation of Edward. The use of repeating that line is brilliant because it connects those two. First time I heard that, it was enough to start obsessing over the finer details of this album. Also, the first time our protagonist is actually named in the whole thing. It might seem a bit strange, but there's a belief that with reincarnation, the souls you're connected to in a past life will cross your path again in some form in your next life. So that ties that up nicely. Now, the newspaper article from Beyond This Life presented a problem. It must have just been bad journalism, because did they not realize that the witness from this is the dead guy's brother? They probably did. However, there's a line in One Last Time, taste of one's wealth. That helps to answer this. Along with a small note inside the liner notes, the cast of characters, Edward is actually a senator, which means he probably had the money to help pay to cover this up. It's just little attention to detail, which is why I think this is a fucking fantastic album, not just musically, but in terms of plot structure, character development. Any potential plot hole you might find there's an answer there if you're willing to take the time. I think they did a fucking amazing job with this. And you know, you can stick 100 monkeys in a room and give them all a guitar. Eventually, they'll come up with something. If you know what you're doing, you can create amazing pieces of art like this. So that's me. I'm sorry I crapped on for way too long, but I thought I would cover pretty much everything.
No, and to be completely fair, like that's a fair effort, man. Like actually, tip of the hat, well done to you, because that's
that's 9 fucking pages.
That's really well thought out, really in depth, and we like to get in depth. We don't normally go that far into it, and that is actually, I know that it's long, but you know, sometimes that's what's required, especially when it's something that you feel so passionately about. And that's why I went with you first. I know you wanted to go last, but that's why I went with you first, because I knew that passion would be, it's worth hearing and seeing in its full form, if that makes sense, as opposed to trying to tackle it at the end. I'm going to go opposite to you. I'm going to be the counterpoint, because I think people are going to know which way I'm going to lean on this one. So I'm going to leave the other people in the room here to be more of a wild card than you and I, because I think you and I are pretty predictable in this one.
Hey, I made Belle leave.
Yeah, I know she's just
on the loo.
Yeah, probably. But for me, whilst I appreciate all the in-depth analysis you've given, and to be fair to Scenes from Memory, the more I've listened to it, the more I've taken away from it. I really have actually gathered myself and found myself getting more immersed in the story, more involved in it, all those things that you talk about, Dave. I can see a lot of what you're talking about, except when you get to Finally Free. Finally Free is where it loses me, because, and the bit before, so like the sex scene wasn't required. I just think it was like a weird homage to Axl Rose, which didn't need to be there. and
it was probably Stephen's girlfriend as well.
Yeah. It's just like I get it, but it didn't do anything for the story, to be honest. Like, we all knew where it was going. It didn't need to be, just, it felt crass in the context of the rest of the album, if that makes sense. And then, like I said before, and I still, even though I've gotten more immersed in the album and I've appreciated it a lot more over the duration of listening to it, because I do listen to it every week when it comes around. I've listened to it like pretty much every day this week I've listened to it. And it's starting to really settle with me, which is saying something for me with Dream Theater, because I usually just tune out, but it's actually really settling on me, and I actually fully appreciate what's going on. But the last track, I said before the last time they came around, they didn't stick the landing. I don't think they still stuck the landing. I don't think, without the liner notes, without all the extra bits and pieces of filler, I don't think the ending is as clear and concise and complete as you. I understand all the musical points you're making, but from a narrative point of view, the open your eyes, Nicholas, the and then the static doesn't give you any closure when listening to this one, because for me, it still feels more like he's waking up again from his hypnotherapy sessions as opposed to being murdered again.
He drove home. He has to fucking wake up before he drives home.
Yeah, but then the very last second again, it's almost like an Inception moment. Is he dreaming within the dream kind of thing? I don't think they gave enough clarity in the very final moment. I get what you're saying about the musical compositions will allow you to find those things, but just in listening to it and the narrative of the story and the final execution, also the dirgy part before all of you are talking about musical progressions and all those things. It's blown out of the water with those bars, that slow morose part right before the therapist says, "Open your eyes, Nicholas." It's like that came out of nowhere, had no context. The driving the car, turning off the radio, turning off the TV, pouring a drink, all those things made sense. But then that song comes in and it just has no point. Like that bit of music there for all of 30 seconds.
It's like a reprise. It's like a reprise.
But it has no tie-in anywhere else compositionally.
Yeah. No, I know it
doesn't need to. It's Nicholas's choice of music.
Yeah, but it's like you got these like 12 bars and then open your eyes, Nicholas, and then static. It's like I just don't feel like they stuck the landing as much. That's why it feels to me more like it's a.
I know. I always got the impression he gets stabbed and he falls onto the gramophone.
Because it's a gotcha moment. That's what it is, and I think Andrew's right.
Like,
I don't think
gotcha, and just and scratches the needle.
That's what that noise at the end is, because I didn't know. So it's a gramophone, or are you just assuming?
He put a record on, the record plays for a bit, he gets stabbed, he falls onto it, and it scratches.
I get it. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay.
But again, for me, in the context of this, for all of the genius going up to this point, I feel it's clunky at the very end, which kind of, for me, takes a lot away from going through this massive journey. It just didn't feel like they executed it correctly. Flipping over to Queensrÿche, which is going to be my pick out of these two. I'm not going to go on and on, but for me, the more time I've spent with the Mindcrime album over the years, I've listened to it a lot, and like I said, I've grown to really actually appreciate and enjoy and probably love Scenes from Memory. It's just that when it comes to Queensrÿche, I think the songwriting, even though it's simpler, it's better because there are hooks, the rhythm, the groove, it stays with me more. It actually speaks me, makes me want to move. Whereas Dream Theater, I can appreciate all the technical aspects that you're going on about, and I do. I respect the fuck out of it. I can't do it. But the way you've got the hooks and the energy, and also for me, feel like it's easier to connect with Mindcrime as a story than it is to connect with what Dream Theater are doing. And
wow, I don't get that at all. Sorry.
This is how I feel. And the thing about it too is that for me, I view Mindcrime as almost more relevant today than it was in '88 or whatever it was when it was released, because it feels like a cautionary tale out there now. There are a lot of people that are falling for a lot of things these days, and I feel like it's a really cautionary thing. It's like, don't be the one that gets sucked right into these things, because you'll wind up in a room on your own, completely abandoned by the ones that put you there. That element of the story feels timeless to me. I know that it's funny because one's dealing with time, but that side feels absolutely timeless because it just seems to never end. That desire to be a part of something that actually fucks you over in the end is really relevant in the last 5 years or so as well. I think the execution, I liked the mystery associated with Mary's death. The fact that you never quite know who did it is one of the. It's an alluring factor. It makes you want to. It keeps you coming back to the album, to be honest, and it's because you can see any of the number of the circumstances. For me personally, I think most likely it was Dr. X, but at the same time, I'm not going into the same level of depth as David.
I don't know why she'd stay there with a dead priest. I mean, rigor mortis has probably stepped in, so maybe she'll jump on the altar again with him for a while for old time's sake.
If you want to get into details, Dave, there's other references in there too about Dr. X sending Nicky people he needs to fix things up. So he's probably got cleaners on the payroll and so on and so forth. There's any number of ways you can write it, but I just liked the way that the Queensrÿche album flowed. I think the songs connect better. I think that they stuck the landing at the end as well, because it begins and ends in the same place, which is him alone saying, I remember now, kind of thing. And it's like this whole thing has been a trip through his mind's eye into what's been going on with him. So whilst he may not have remembered everything that was going on, he actually finally gets the memory after the shot at the beginning of the movie, which he says, you sick bastard kind of thing. It's like there's this whole cyclical effect to it all for me, which I think is endearing. I don't think they needed to do number 2. I think number 1 was fine. And so for me, it's Queensrÿche. And it's not that it's not close. It is a genuine contest, but it's just a case of the songwriting, the hooks, the energy, the storytelling, and for me, the fact that it's still a timeless cautionary tale. I think that, to me, just sort of puts it well and truly over the line for me. So whilst I appreciate, admire, respect Dream Theater and what they did with it, for me, they get to go home and Queensrÿche gets to go on, because I do buy the hype. I do believe that it is one of the best concept albums out there going around. Just my point of view.
Well done.
Conrad, you're nodding your head. What about you? Where do you land?
Yeah, I mean, this is funnily enough. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love both the. I've actually got a hoodie. There you go.
Nice.
Wow, nice. Cool, man.
That's a hoodie. What do you call it? Scenes from a Memory hoodie.
Yep.
And a Mindcrime.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
This isn't meant to be easy. This is not meant to be easy.
No.
And I guess, as I said, and I've said it again many times, we should have perhaps, when I suggested this idea, perhaps we should have put more guidelines in place to make it a bit more.
Comrade, this is a fucking great few weeks, because I've had to match up albums that I've never had to think about before.
Yeah.
A lot of these albums are like really special.
Awesome.
A lot of them are.
Don't apologize. Plus, I'm in like full Dream Theater obsessive mode again, which is fucking great. I love it.
It's very much apples and oranges. A lot of things. These two are probably closer than some of the others. I actually saw this show this week. I went and saw it again this week. It was playing. I didn't know. I was just like on my Facebook, and I've been a little out of touch of what's happening, and I've missed some fucking crackers. That trip in China, that unfortunately.
Well, and to be fair, you've earned some downtime, man. So don't be hard on yourself.
I missed Peter Gabriel the other night. I was furious when I saw it. I saw it at 9:30 that evening. Peter Gabriel's playing tonight at the O2 Arena. I was fucking furious, so pissed off. Anyway, I saw this earlier this week. I saw it on Sunday night. He happened to be in town doing this live in its entirety, and it was a no-brainer. I've got to go.
Yeah.
I've probably seen it now about 10 times.
Wow.
It's still stunning. It still fucking blows me away every time. I don't get tired of it. I don't find it boring. I don't think it's aged in 35 years. This album, 35 years old, and it hasn't aged a day. You put it on, it still sounds as fresh, and I think that that's testament to it. And seeing that there are people still wanting to go and see this live. There was still 500 people that turned up to see this show.
Wow.
Fairly small venue. It was probably about half the size of the Croxton.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
They're about half the size of the Croxton. It's about 500 people. But, I think probably because he comes here quite often and people have show quite a lot, so that therefore, it wasn't playing massive, places.
Yeah.
Like they used to. I saw them at the Albert Hall. The first time I saw them was the Albert Hall on the Promised Land tour.
Wow.
Yeah. Look, it's still stunning. It's the songs hold up, and like you say, I think politically, socially, it has a message that's still just as relevant today as it was the day it came out, if not more. with classic lines in it, like the rich control the government, the media, the law. It's just fantastic stuff. I think it's great. So it will, that's my pick out of the two. In saying that, Scenes from a Memory is a fantastic record, and I remember it when it first came out. I got to hear it when it first came out, and it blew me away. I was just mesmerized by the musicianship on it, because up until that point, nothing had come along like that. Nothing had sounded anything like it. Even Dream Theater themselves hadn't gone into that level of musicianship themselves and done that level of changes, that many time changes and things like that. So it blew me away, and it still does. I agree with you here, Andrew. In the ending is just too ambiguous. It's too ambiguous. I'm a bit what the fuck. I'm like, what's
more ambivalent than fucking Mary's death.
I didn't get it. I didn't get the ending. I was like, what's going on here?
Mary's death compared to the ending, like, it's a difference between being a plot device versus the end of the story.
Yes, Mary's is left up to the listener to perhaps to decide. Possibly.
It's pretty obvious Nicholas gets killed.
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I listened to the record and I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
I got it the first time.
I know what happens, but I still don't feel it.
I don't get it, and I've struggled with it. I think the ending just doesn't fit very well. It just doesn't. I don't know. It's too vague for me, and I think for some of the listeners out there might struggle with that as well. But it's as a piece of work, as a piece of art, it's stunning, and it definitely. Needs to be recognized as something in the last 30 years or 20.
None of us are ripping on it at all. Like,
no, it's an incredible record, and I would go and see it again. I didn't see this tour. I saw I've seen Dream Theater many times, and they did some of this live, but they didn't do the whole thing.
Me too.
But it's still a brilliant piece. But yeah, of course, Mindcrime is going to win this for me. I don't think it is overrated. People, again, Dave might think it's overrated. I don't. If anything, it's underrated. And I'll go as far as to say, not only is it one of the best concept records of all time, it's one of the best heavy metal records of all time.
There we go.
Yeah, I think it's brilliant. So
Okay.
there you go. That's for me.
Nice. All right.
My 2 cents worth.
No, wonderful. All right, awesome. Cheers for sharing.
No.
Belle, I'm going to make you go last for once on the. You haven't gone last on one of these rounds yet, have you?
I don't know.
No, I don't think you have. So I
don't think so. No.
I'm going to leave Belle till last, and Jeff, you're always a wild card with these ones. So let's see if you even it up or if you determine it.
Okay. So when I was sitting down and I was like, what am I going to write? Right. Am I going to write another, pages and pages of stuff? I've already written pages and pages about this stuff. What more can I say about these two albums?
Yeah.
And then, we were going to go on tonight at 8:30. That was the idea that I thought. And I started writing this at 8 o'clock. So, because I thought, I've got to write something. So I did. I came up with something, and here it is. Nice. So Operation Mindcrime versus Scenes from a Memory. Another crazy battle. 2 albums that both deserve to win. And it's true. They both do deserve to win. But unfortunately, one will win and one will go home. So on one side, we have the powerhouse, Metropolis Part 2, Scenes from a Memory, an album that takes a deep dive into past life regression and how a woman who was murdered in 1928 has been living on inside our protagonist, Nicholas, who has been going through past life regression therapy and learns all about his life by looking through her eyes, which is kind of cool. Now, here he discovers how she died, why, and more importantly, who kills her. It's a very interesting story, if not a little far-fetched. And then we have Operation Mindcrime, an album that is about a bloke who gets mixed up in a political group intent on bringing about changes to the government and society as a whole through murder and revolution. hoping that they will be the much needed spark to start that change. Now, our protagonist, and clever listeners will pick up on the similarities in the name. Listeners, so here we have on one side, it was Nicholas from Scenes from Memory. And here in this story, it's Nikki. Okay, now just a coincidence, or is it? One album is trying to sell the idea that there are no coincidences and everything is linked together.
Wow.
Yeah, deep.
Nice.
But here, Operation Mindcrime, Nikki, who is being used as a pawn in a political game of high-positioned assassinations, Nikki must find a way to save the woman that he loves, a prostitute turned nun named Mary, and himself, if he can successfully navigate his way out of this torrid, nightmarish world that he has been tricked into joining. And then one thing leads to another. Excuse the page change. And soon,
need that bell chime, the old school bell chime.
Ding, ding. But soon he has blood on his hands, not knowing if he was the one who killed his beloved Mary. And the man who orchestrated it all, Dr. X, is free. So when I sat down to review these two albums, these two magnus opuses, and they really are, I really had I knew I had a tough battle ahead. There was just no way around it. And I sat down and I thought, I've got to write something. So this is it. Now, both albums are great and take us on an amazing musical journeys. And both bands feature virtuoso musicianship. No question there at all. But it all comes down to story. What each album is trying to say. What lasting message is each trying to leave behind. And that's important. Scenes from a Memory, that life never really ends. The things that you do now are tied to the things that have been done before and by the people in the future. So everything's just a big circle. It's interesting concept, but it seems to me that it's more wishful thinking than anything, that our spirits live on forever. That's just my personal belief. And then there is the power machinations of political groups, the runs for power, both publicly and behind the scenes. Some things never change. Operation Mindcrime story is as relevant when it was written in 1988 as it is today. And it's a familiar story of political chess, full of pawns and fall guys who end up taking the falls for the more powerful players on the board. Now, given the path that both albums have taken in their writing, I have to personally give it to the album that moves me the most, fills me with the most wonder and excitement. And it's still an album that I listen to probably at least once a month. And it's from the day I first heard it to now, it's still a magical journey for me as an album. Nothing against Dream Theater, but it has to go to Operation Mindcrime. I purely find the story more engaging, and what's more, it's plausible. Done.
Fair enough. Well done.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Cool. I'm glad you sat down to write something in the end as well. It's actually, I liked the link you made between Nikki and Nicholas, which is a nice little, that whole thing that no coincidences. That's a nice little touch. And maybe these two albums were destined to face off against each other in this.
It was done on purpose.
That's right. Well, there's no accidents. It's
to be fair, now we polled the audience. We got the top 10. This is number 1 seed versus number 4 seed. This is a very, very like either one of these two is very much loved out there. So they're fantastic albums from top to bottom. But Belle, is it a gentleman's sweep, or are you going to side with Dave here?
I can't see that happening.
Let's see if Dave gets to follow.
Mindcrime's going through. Is that right? It's done.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, I'll just have my say anyway.
Yep.
So I wrote half of this yesterday, and the other half not that long ago.
Yeah.
So yesterday's bit was about Dream Theater, and I have to say things have slightly altered, but I'll read what I wrote.
Yeah, good.
Yesterday anyway. So last week when you announced this week's battle, Andrew, the thought of spending another week with this album just filled me with dread. So I didn't listen to it. Well, not until yesterday morning.
Okay.
When I started feeling guilty about not doing homework. So I put it on while I was driving home from dropping my son off at the bus stop in the morning. And by the time I got home, I was halfway through Fatal Tragedy. And then something completely unexpected happened. I had my finger poised over the ignition button to turn the car off.
Yep.
And I thought, oh, I'm really enjoying this. And I was really loath to push that button and go inside and go to work.
That's cool.
So that was weird.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
It does feel to me like Scenes from Memory is one of those albums that takes a bit longer, but once it grabs you, it's very captivating.
Well, I remember that because I'd listened to it a few times the first round, and I think I said that I was not starting to like it, but starting to hate it less than what I did when I first heard it.
Yep.
So I guess that's been a continuation of that. So the opening track is really lovely. It actually reminded me a bit of the first half of one of my turns in Pink Floyd's The Wall. I don't know if anyone else can hear that, but because I was listening to it, I thought, oh, what does that remind me of? And The Wall came to mind, and then I went and I'm like, yep, it's only the first half because then it goes all dark. And then that leads into Overture, and there's some really good stuff in there. I don't really like the chord progression in that. I've crossed out a bunch of stuff. Sorry. But it does give the sense of something building and something's coming. It turns out what that something is just a bunch of instrumental wankery. Sorry, Dave.
It's an overture, like so many albums, like in the Crimson Idol.
Yeah, but the Crimson Idol just kind of didn't go on and on and on. Anyway.
It's actually the same length. Actually, the Crimson Idol's 3 seconds more. I checked.
Okay, well.
I'm going to say the Crimson Idol doesn't feel it.
Stop poking holes in my review, Dave.
There's a backhand.
All right, we get to the next track, Strange Deja Vu, which really just feels like the previous songs finally started. And that's where the singing comes in, and with it brings just another layer of disappointment. I don't dislike James LaBrie singing all that much, but he really does sound whiny on that track. There's a really cool section in the middle of the song with a great riff. It seriously rocks. I love that bit. They do write some good riffs. It's just too bad they often feel the need to mess with the perfect simplicity of a good riff. As I said earlier, Fatal Tragedy is pretty cool. However, it could have been chopped in half and lost the guitar scales and weird keyboard solo at the end.
What's the point of listening to music about solos?
Well, okay. I'm just going to ignore you and keep going. Please hold all questions to the end.
Keep it talking.
Perfect.
Apparently, these things were necessary to enhance the story being told. If I had to pick a favorite track, it would probably be Beyond This Life. It's got awesome heavy riffs. They've done a fantastic job of perfectly matching the music to what's going on in the story. Even the inevitable minutes worth of self-indulgent soloing are easier to tolerate when they're done over a bluesy groove. Through Her Eyes is not only a stunning ballad musically, but the lyrics do a great job of telling the connection between.
That's one of the better songs by a fair stretch on that album, I think, personally.
Yeah. So between Nicholas and Victoria, they're not just the past life connection, but it also makes the listener understand the inherent goodness of Nicholas's character.
Yeah.
The song also comes in at the perfect time because as a very casual listener of this band, my ears needed a break from all the technical shit they've just thrown at me up until then. Dance of Eternity could have been axed from the album completely. It's brilliant, don't get me wrong, but what part of the story is being told here?
I've said the same thing earlier. Hang on, but
you did explain. I'm like, I get
to be fair here, though, Belle, Dave, I think the first time you and I reviewed this, I said the exact same thing.
All right.
From memory.
Okay.
Yeah.
Belle, have you heard the original song?
The original song? What do you mean?
Metropolis Part 1.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Listen to that, and Dance of Eternity might make more sense because there is a massive musical section in that. That Dance of Eternity will mirror.
Yeah,
that's why it's part 2.
It's why it's part 2. It has to have something like that because it's part 2 to part 1 that has something like
part
that.
2 the whole album though, not just
Yeah.
Part 1 is just a song or part of the song. Part 2 is a whole album.
An 8-minute song. But if you did the fraction, that part of the song would reference, if you stretched it out, that'd be where the Dance of Eternity would kind of end up.
Yep. Yeah.
Right.
It's actually to be fair, like I agree with you, Belle. It could have been cut from the album in the context of things, but in terms of what they're doing in terms of the grand scope, there's actually a fair amount of detail to it, which is pretty impressive. Yeah.
It goes right back to their first album.
Yeah.
Second.
I'll listen to part 1.
Second album, yeah. First album was Liberty. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think I don't know. Save that kind of thing, like full instrumental tracks for a non-concept album. Like,
there's a point there. Yep.
No.
All right. Despite my criticisms, I think I'm actually starting to get it. I'm becoming more familiar with Dream Theater and what they do, and maybe even grudgingly starting to enjoy the erraticness of their music. But would I put it on out of choice? That remains to be seen. I don't know if the second half of One Last Time and The Spirit Carries On are meant to be bookend tracks to Overture and Regression. Overture 1928, is that right? That's what I've written. But they sound similar to me. I need to do some kind of comparison. Anyway, The Spirit Carries On has a great closure vibe to it. The story concludes. Nicholas has solved the mystery.
You could have stopped there. You honestly could have stopped at The Spirit Carries On, and it would have been good.
But you need to know the truth of what happens.
Also, it seems. In Finally Free,
because Beyond This Life is a lie. That's not what really happened.
Yeah, I get that. So it seems that he solved his mystery, but he hasn't. I happen to agree actually with, I think, Andrew and Conrad. The ending is really messy. It's just unnecessary. Like, just make it more obvious what happened. I think.
It could have been. It just could have been. That was the part that needed to be blunt. To make the twist at the end work, it needed to actually be just in your face, not subtle. For me,
personally. They had the sound effects in it, like, until now the story's been told with music, and the hypnotist. But then all of a sudden they had all these sound effects in it, and it sort of was odd as well if they had that.
For me, a simple thing would have been just to have open your eyes, Nicholas, and a gunshot. That would have made more sense than what we got. To me personally.
Yeah, it's ambiguous, and you don't really know. I must agree that it's sort of like leaves you going. It asks more questions than it answers.
I got it the first time. It was pretty obvious. It was very obvious.
I didn't think it was either.
Probably not, if not everyone got it.
Okay. I'm sure.
Maybe he's just a genius.
Either you're a complete genius, or the rest of us are thick as fucking pig shit.
No, I'm just the odd one out.
In all fairness, I get it, and you could get it if you're a Dream Theater fan. You could probably work it out because that's what they do. The Dream Theater fans obsess over every little detail.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
And so he's done that, and that's fair.
Would
I get it the first time you listen to it though, Dave. And is this the first Dream Theater album you listened to?
Yeah. This is Change of Seasons.
And you got it the first time you listened through.
Yep, absolutely.
So then, you weren't a Dream Theater fan by that time.
I'm gonna forward Dave's admission to Mensa.
Yeah. So he's a genius.
Hats off to you.
Yes.
I couldn't get it.
Yeah.
And I listened to it many times and was a big Dream Theater fan even before this album came out. So
I only knew that was what was happening because I actually read the story.
That was the same.
Yeah.
Well, it mirrors the sound effects you have earlier, where you hear the death scene in 1928. So what's not to compare? And plus, there's also in Beyond This Life, a witness found a switchblade on the ground. So it's not just a gun; there's a knife involved as well.
I don't remember hearing a knife. I'll have to listen through
what
it.
I do love in
There was a lot at the end.
sorry, I'll shut up and let you continue on, Belle.
Oh, I think I'm nearly done because we're getting towards the end. All right, so anyway, adding in the sound effects were perfect. It's all you need to explain what's going on in the story rather than endless minutes worth of storytelling done through soloing. Anyway, I love how the music suddenly becomes sinister and then you switch to the narrative of, and then I haven't written anymore. I guess I got distracted and forgot to go back to that. So I don't know what I was trying to say there. Good one, Belle. Anyway, I've written after that. I know I'm flipping around here with my opinion because that's literally how I'm feeling about this album. It's like my brain has been doing for the last 2 days. As I'm listening to it, I think, oh, I like this. And no, I don't really like it. Yes, I do. And it's confusing. One last thing I'll say about this album that my view hasn't wavered on. The voice of the hypnotist is completely unconvincing. I don't know who it is, but
It's the guy who originally mixed the album.
So it's just kind of you're British, you can be the hypnotist.
Well, actually, I'm going to go on again, but the start of 1928 was the original start of the album, and that surges straight from the end of the first song. They realized they needed something else, so they put regression there, which then they had just whoever was handy to do the voice. So then they couldn't play the first song and then go into the album. They played the first song, part one, after they do the album when they did it live. But the regression was an afterthought to just kind of give a little bit more context.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
open your eyes, Dave.
The idea is good. I think it works really well. Just the guy, the guy's voice.
The guy they use on the live DVD of the performance, he's even worse. He's fucking wooden as hell. Seriously.
It's like they went in. It's like they went to a posh hotel in New York.
Yeah, just give me that voice.
Grabbed a butler and went, "He'll do. He'll do. He sounds British. He'll do. We'll put him in the gig."
The original mix is on the demo CD that I got. They got like writing sessions for each song. So different vocal melodies that they're fucking around with, different ideas. Okay. If you think Dance of Eternity is crazy, there's stuff that they cut out, and it's faster.
Hey, Dave, I'll tell you something about the album you didn't know a bit. Do you know that news scene at the end where they're talking about the skies are growing dark over Washington and stuff? Do you know what that's actually referring to?
No,
that's actually taken from a real broadcast. That was taken after the plane crash that killed John F. Kennedy's son in 1999 when he died. Yeah.
Do you know why? Yeah, Mike Portnoy's got a fascination with plane crashes because his mum died in one.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That's the inspiration for the song Change of Seasons. That's the whole life journey first. Yeah.
How spooky is that? That then when they brought out that album cover, it was on the day of the
when they did the live album, the planes crashed.
The Twin Towers with the planes crashing into the Twin Towers.
Yeah. Ooh. So imagine how Portnoy must have felt.
That would have done
crazy stuff.
Andrew, if you're interested, the alternative mixes were done by the guy who does the hypnotherapist, and then they got Kevin Shirley to redo it in a couple of days because it does sound different. There's some stuff that they have cut out for the final product, but it's flat. It's not as vibrant as the actual album, so you can hear the massive difference. So if you want to hear a comparison, I'll hook you up with that.
Yeah, cool. I'd be curious. I'm definitely curious.
Yeah, it's really, really fascinating, that CD, to hear the writing progress and then the original mix and then the whole shit.
Bill.
Oh, sorry.
No,
it's my fault. It's my fault. I shouldn't.
No, I honestly, it's a discussion. It's
my fault. Shut the fuck up. I've had my say.
From notes, honestly, it's It's not particularly organic.
This
All
whole
right.
show is not organic.
I will continue though, because that's Dream Theater, and
Yeah.
I'll just remember that was yesterday.
So today was Queensrÿche, I presume.
Today was Queensrÿche.
Right.
So I didn't do Mindcrime because I think that was the week that I jumped in randomly and you were doing that.
Yep.
So I just kind of came along for the ride, and I think my review was something like, "Oh, I like Mindcrime because I used to go out with a guy who liked Mindcrime, so that made me like it too." And that was pretty good. So I'll try to do a bit better, but no promises. So despite some opinions to the contrary, this album is all killer, no filler.
Absolutely.
Like Scenes from Memory, the first track includes spoken lyrics that set the scene to kick off the story, followed by an instrumental track that has the same drive and momentum that leads into the song where the story kicks in vocally too. But the difference is Queensrÿche to do all of that just as effectively, but in less than half the time it takes Dream Theater to do it. So we all know the story of Nikki, a young drug addict with an already jaded view of society who gets seduced by Dr. X, Jeff,
the man with the cure,
who turns him into a brainwashed assassin. Despite all these things Nikki does and is, we still see him as the good guy and the victim here. All this happens over the course of 3 spirited and beautifully crafted songs. It's impossible not to be caught up in the story by now. It kind of makes you wish someone would turn it into a movie. Movie
will never happen.
I think it could do with the right director. If
director can only film what's been written. Too many holes.
From memory, there's no way that's made.
The right director approaches Tate and he likes
Jeff,
the story, he'll do it.
Jeff, jump on YouTube. Jeff, jump on YouTube. A student film has done it. A couple of them.
Student film. All right. Well, look.
There's a few student films for Scenes from Memory.
He's not going to let fucking some students do it.
All right. Anyway,
great job.
Let's get Belle to finish before we hear
yes.
I know.
Sorry.
Sorry, Belle.
This is going to finish pretty quickly because all I've got there is enter scene 8, enter Sister Mary. Enter, comma, Sister Mary, because that's a very important comma. But
a lot of people have entered Sister Mary.
Yeah, exactly. And then
nice.
my note.
Good segue. Good segue.
They're gone. I don't know where they are. Maybe they're still on the printer. Never mind. I've got the conclusion, which is, I guess, the important part. So
see, I tuned out about there as well.
Conclusion. We know, Dave. We know.
Well done. I'll pay that.
Yeah. Oh boy.
All right, Mindcrime. I adore this album. I know it back to front, inside out. I'll never tire of it. It's one of my all-timers. Anyone who's known me for a long time knows how much I love it. A side story. My brother-in-law stayed here a few months ago, I think in December. And so I've known him for a long time. Been with my husband for 16 years. We've been together, not married for that long, but anyway, so he's known me for ages, and so he stayed in this room, which is kind of it's a spare room, but it's got all my shit in here, and over there's my stereo, my CDs, records, and all of that. And the next morning he was saying, there was a pile of CDs sitting next to the stereo, and I thought, I bet your Operation Mindcrime is sitting in that stack of CDs. And it was, of course. Yeah. So anyway, that's how much I love it.
Cool.
Okay, Scenes from Memory. I feel like I'm just starting to get to know this album and really starting to appreciate just how seriously good it is. Not just, I can tell these guys are talented musicians and they tell a great story, but genuine interest in this album. So this is today I wrote this. I've listened to some other Dream Theater in the last couple of weeks. Some of it I really liked, and some of it I fucking hated and never want to hear again. But I've got this itch to listen to this album some more because there is so much to take in, and you can't possibly do that after only a few listens. I want to tune in to what the keyboards are doing when the guitar is in the spotlight, and vice versa. I want to play through the album where I listen only to the drums, and then I want to play through again and listen to the interplay between the drummer and the rest of the band. I want to get used to James LeBrie's vocals to the point that I'm not thinking about just how high-pitched his voice is, but I'm just enjoying his singing and lyrics. And that'll probably take a while.
The high-pitched stuff might be when he's doing Victoria vocals. There could be a reason for it.
But he sings on other albums where he's not Victoria, right? And he still sounds high-pitched.
Depends on the places. Sometimes he does a lower one.
Yeah, the thing is, if you want to hear James LeBrie sound a bit different, check out his last soul album from last year. That was
really good.
I enjoyed that one quite a lot. I really dug that one.
It's different, Belle. It really is good. Yeah.
It's kind of, I don't know. I'll listen to a song. Recommend me a song. And
the cover, the Zeppelin cover is fucking nice. I was really surprised by that, to be honest. That one caught me off guard, and I was like, okay, there's a Zeppelin. I forget the track, Dave, but there was a Zeppelin cover on it, and I was like, oh, wow, hang on.
Can't think offhand, but yeah.
Yeah.
One of the lesser-known Zeppelin songs.
I didn't think it'd be that good, but it was well done. It caught me by surprise.
Okay. I
thought ballsy, but well done. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So this is it. Would I spin Mindcrime again next week or the week after? By choice, of course I would. Would I spin Scenes of a Memory again by choice? Why leave it to chance? Dream Theater gets my vote. Not that it matters.
Oh.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, I want to explore this album. Like just after today's, I listened to it. I don't know, maybe at least twice, and it seemed like the instrumental passages like had shrunk because I was enjoying them.
You get used to it. I'm fucking shocked. I said in the chat with Bell voted for Dream Theater, I'd fall off my chair. I can't do it on command. Fuck.
So how many was that? That's 2 versus 3. Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. But
I'm fucking shocked.
No, but hey, that's actually really impressive. I'm blown away by that. That's well done. Like
I know Mindcrime. I know it. Like I'll listen to it any day of the week, but I know it. There's nothing left for me to explore there.
Yeah.
I haven't found anything in it for a long time. But this
that's cool.
That's cool. Really... It does get under your skin. This is one of those albums. This is my introduction. That's why I'm obsessed with this band. Because once you get done with this, check out Octavarium, because there's a fucking lot in there too. Can we review Octavarium? I can talk for another 2 hours about that.
Octavarium
Easy boy. Let's one thing at a time.
One album at a time.
Yeah. Let me get to the point where I can say I really like it, and then maybe I'll be ready to move on.
Octavarium, Bell, is one song, 24 minutes.
Oh, okay.
It's a journey.
And just to jump in here, we were talking about LeBrie covering Zeppelin. Jeff has clarified for me in the chat it was Ramble On that he did. So
of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
I saw Dream Theater do the entire Number of the Beast record from start to finish.
Yeah, I've got the bootleg. They did puppets as well.
I was there at that show.
Nice.
It was killer.
Wow.
No, it was note for note exact as what you hear on the album.
Yeah, that's the way. If you're going to do a tribute album, that's the way to do it.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Actually,
the thing is, they didn't tell the audience either what they were going to do.
Yeah.
It's a surprise to the audience. It's like they do their show, and then they'll have an intermission, and then they'll come back on and do a classic record.
The second half of the second night in the same town, they would do a cover album.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was great.
They did Made in Japan as well, and Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
I'm all for artists who want to do cover albums, right, from other bands and stuff. But what really shits me to tears is when a band will do that, And then they add all this other shit that wasn't there that people don't give a fuck because it wasn't there in the first place. But they want to they want to add like, this is us. This is our interpretation. I don't want your fucking interpretation. I want you to play it the way it was because that's the album I love.
All right, I reckon we can pin this conversation for an overrated, underrated, or something like it. I reckon we can.
Yeah, that would make a good one.
Definitely use this one as an actual piece of planned content, maybe next week or something like that. Overrated, underrated covers. There we go. We can have some fun with that, I reckon. Something like that. Anyway, but no, I'm just to clarify. Bell chose Dream Theater in the end, which I'm sort of kicking myself that I didn't go the way I was going to go originally. I thought I was going to go Jeff to close, and then I went, "Fuck, okay, I've spoiled it." But okay, well, it worked out differently. But
I'm fucking shocked.
Well done.
So it's 3 versus 2.
It's great.
It is 3 versus 2.
True.
So that does mean that.
That was a fucking left hook. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
That
Like
was a good. That was the twist
that, no?
this whole thing deserved. So well done, Bill. So
I wasn't expecting it. I wouldn't have picked them yesterday.
wow.
So
but I get that though. I do get that because I've done that thing. You got to be objective. You got to come in it with, if you come in with the conclusion, you're doing it wrong. You cannot come in it with a conclusion.
That's why each week we have them come up. I listen to them again. I don't just go on previous notes. I listen to them again each time against the album they're going up against.
Hey Jeff, I'll link you up with the video on YouTube of the movie.
Yeah, please do.
Cool.
I'd like to.
Really well done. And Portnoy actually commented on it. He says you guys nailed it.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
Is it long? Is it like a long thing?
16 minutes. There's no music. It's just the story.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And ultimately, it's a love story. Forget about the hypnosis shit. It's just a device to tell that story.
At its core, it's a love triangle. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, I think next week's going to break a lot of hearts because next week is Pink Floyd The Wall versus Wasp The Crimson Idol. The winner of those two goes on to face Operation Mindcrime in the finale. So either way, the finale.
Either one of them beats Mindcrime.
Dave with the spoiler alert 2 weeks out.
Easily.
They're both killer albums, really.
But I think next week, for me, we should do a thing at some point where, what was the album for the contest we dreaded? Because that next week is the one that I dreaded. I didn't want that to happen, and it's going to happen. I'm going to be fucked. That's going to hurt me. But
I'm not looking forward to next week. It's going to be one of those sleepless fucking night weeks. Like Dream Theater versus Alice Cooper. That was painful.
Yeah, no, it was.
There's some good choices. There's some great choices of albums that people vote for.
Have voted in, which is, and eventually.
I mean, there's some that I would have loved to have seen in there, but obviously didn't get the votes. But
but at the same time, we can't complain with the list we've been given at the end of the day.
No, the list we've been given has been very difficult.
But that's the point, isn't it?
I've got to hear albums I haven't heard before.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Or at least not for a long time. Which
and there's some albums I'd never heard before that I'd listened to. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I got to discover things like Streets, for example. I hadn't listened to it before this process. That's been great.
At
the end, but this has been a good journey so far. We've got a couple of weeks to go. Next week's going to be a killer. Pink Floyd versus Wasp, but going to be interesting
because it's all about context, right? Like
and those two stories cross over a bit too, which is like they fit, which is going to make it harder.
That's right. You got to vote on the merits of the contest.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and that's where it's going to be. It's going to be. I don't know which one I'm going to go with that one. I have no idea. Let's get some comments, and then we'll get to a bin and get out of here. We got Mal said too hard to split Nikki Sixx, Rachel Bolan, and Juan Crosier. So there we go. Got some good choices there when it came to the bass players before. Nicole said Queensrÿche for me. Adrian said Operation Mindcrime is such a good album. But Nicole said, bring in the cold case experts, Dave.
That's funny. That's funny.
But Adrian said, the sound is great. Nicole said it's called the CIA, Dave. So here we go. Getting right into the... Darren says it's a fucking story, Dave. What the fuck?
Exactly. A story that has so many fucking holes in it. If you're telling the story,
all right,
do it properly.
Hang on. Normally I give Vinny comment of the night. Darren, you get this week. Like that's comment of the night tonight.
That's great.
Exactly though. It's a story with fucking holes in it. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
Don't you pull holes. Don't you look for holes.
You're the one shooting with the gun, man.
Yeah, I know. It's fish in a barrel, man.
Yeah, I'm going to stay in a church with a dead priest right next to me. That makes fucking sense.
Here we go.
When you can write a record as good as Mindcrime, come and see me.
Mine wouldn't have any fucking holes in it. I could write the music, but as far as the narrative goes, I wouldn't release something like that.
I think you've invented holes. I don't think there are holes. That's the thing. I really don't.
I don't find them.
If your boyfriend just killed a priest, would you stay in the fucking church as a dead body? Why would you stay?
You got to
I
remember.
don't think you're meant to analyze it like that.
Yeah.
But it's there. That's what they presented to the audience. Why would she stay?
Because she's been through a lot of shit in her life, right?
Father William saved her from the streets. She loved the man. Father William saved her from the streets.
Yeah.
Maybe she was mourning. Maybe she was there mourning his death.
And she knows Dr. X wants her dead. He knows where she is.
Well,
that's stupid.
That's hindsight. See, that's actually looking. That's sort of knowing how the story goes. From her perspective, she doesn't know that.
Fucking Nikki was just supposed to kill her. Nikki would have told her that he wants me to kill you. Just stay here and I'll go tell him that I didn't kill you.
I don't think you're meant to look. I didn't think you're meant to analyze it.
But it's there. You're not meant to. Obviously, they don't want to give away a fucking plot hole, but it's there. And it's not that hard to see.
As Darren said, it's a story.
I never analyzed it.
It's a story. And what makes a fucking classic? What makes a classic story? Something that you can read over and over again and not find any holes.
No, there's no such thing as a perfect story. That doesn't exist. But
hang on. Everyone's been claiming that it's the best concept album ever, which means it has to be perfect. It's not.
No, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's really fucking good. That's all.
It's not executed as well as any other on this list.
What?
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, Dave. I think a lot of people disagree with that one. Anyway, let's get to comments. Michael has said, "Okay, Dave. So after you ripped Mindcrime a new one, I'm wondering if you can explain Dream Theater's use of sound effects. Oh, please."
I did.
They sound like they're slapped together quickly, not an example of sound design at all. And he's followed up with Queensrÿche certainly used sound effects from commercial libraries, and the Dr. Davis bit is straight off CD library over
absolutely.
TV shows.
Absolutely. It's in Motley Crue, fucking Dr. Feelgood.
It is in Dr. Feelgood, that's right.
Yeah.
It's just
Michael's followed up with, could either of these bands recorded their own and made it sound good? Depends on the producer, actually. Michael, so my questions are prompted by looking for the best concept albums ever comment you made. So there we go. Edge Crusher said, love both of their best releases, which is a good point. Both are masterpieces. Mindcrime got me into prog, but Dream Theater, my favorite band, so Dream Theater for me. So there we go. Got some more love for Dave.
I'm not alone. What?
No, you're not alone.
You're not alone.
Adrian said, Dave is going off. Darren said, thanks, but you're making me drowsy. Good night. See you next week.
Wow.
Rowan said, slowly losing my love of this Dream Theater album with a smiley face there. Andrew said, we all might be going to bed when the sun rises this week. And Rowan's laughing. Adrian's gone, Dave, can I get the transcript? Rowan said, two of my all-time favorite albums. And I seriously thought I would need to abstain from picking one over the other, but Dave's reviews remind me how much better Mindcrime is. That's my pick.
Even with the holes?
Wow. Hang on. Follow it up with I'm kidding. Listening to them back to back this week, I got to give points to Mindcrime for some things, points to memories to other things, and no points to either for story. I don't like either story. So there we go. In the end, I had to fall back on the impact each album had on my life. Memories is a great album among many great albums. Mindcrime changed my life, so Mindcrime it is. It's actually a fair reasoning there, so well done, Ron.
That's right. Yep.
Adrian says, when Operation Mindcrime was released, it was a big commercial success. Jeff Tate's vocals were next level on Mindcrime. But when it came to your show and tell, Conrad, Adrian was going, cool shirt. Rowan said...
He's still got it. His voice has still got it. He can still
I knew he dipped for a while, but I'm glad to hear it. I've heard lots of people saying he's got it now, so I knew
he's got it back.
Still
he got it back, which is hard to do. Not many can pull it off. So well done.
Because he did sort of lose it a little bit, and that's evident in the albums.
The Frequency Unknown album is an abortion of an album. Like
you're right, it is. It should never have been done. And the re-recording of fucking Mindcrime songs on there, like what the fuck?
Bad. It's so bad.
Like, what was he thinking? I don't know what he was thinking, but whatever it was, I don't want that.
Someone should have been in the room and said, "This is a bad idea. Don't do this."
Yeah.
But anyway,
it was great during the Avantasia concert.
And that's the thing. Like, that's why I say I'm glad to hear he's got it back, because the Frequency Unknown was just terrifyingly bad.
I could never fault him live, and I've seen him many, many times. He's never disappointed me. He's always amazing.
But have you listened to Frequency Unknown or FU? Because that's
bad. Give it a listen. It's worth a listen just to see how bad it is.
Gave it a listen when it came out vaguely. It didn't grab me.
No,
it was
the
other one. Kickback at being pissed off and being booted from the band.
But
I'll put an album up first.
He's a very I don't know. He's a strange guy.
Very intelligent.
Yes, he is.
Very intelligent, but he's got some quirks. But that's okay. Most artists do. That's the thing that makes them.
I mean, pulling a knife out on the band and threatening the band.
Yeah, that was weird.
Oh my god,
he's a pretty unstable human being.
All right, let's get some more here. Rowan said the guitar tones on Mindcrime still stand out to me. They're outrageous. But Adrian said I'm biased because Mindcrime was on MTV a lot, which is fair enough.
I'm going to give credit to Jeff DeGarmo. Chris DeGarmo, very underrated guitar player and songwriter.
Definitely.
Incredibly underrated
with that
guitar player.
He's out of music altogether now. He's into pilot. He's a pilot. Flies planes.
He hated touring. He loathed touring. He fucking absolutely hated it. And he just
into like crop dusting and shit like that in his farm.
Just got out of the business completely. But it's a shame because he's an amazing songwriter and
they got him back. If they pursue their bliss, then seriously, let them just pursue their bliss. To be honest,
the album Tribe was not great. It came back for that, and then he was and he left because
don't blame him. Andrew said Operation Mindcrime inspired all the members of Dream Theater when they were called Majesty, Portnoy, Petrucci, and my uncle were blown away by the music, as I've read Petrucci mentioned in many interviews. So there we go.
Yeah,
that's right.
Mindcrime they were actually listening to while they wrote Scenes from Memory, along with Tommy and fucking The Wall and a whole bunch of others. Misplaced Childhood from Marillion.
Yeah, which makes sense when you break it down.
If you're gonna take ideas, steal from the best.
Yeah, but Portnoy has also said never meet your heroes because the Dream Theater, the Queensrÿche tour didn't go too well. In fact, the Dream Theater song "As I Am" is inspired by that. So read the lyrics and it'll make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, those bands did not get along.
They swapped each night.
Yeah. But there was a lot of backstage friction between them. Like the Queensrÿche guitarists were trying to teach John Petrucci how to play, which is the lyrics in MIM. Don't tell me how to play. Don't tell me how to write. Don't tell me how to win this fight. Yeah, it's basically a fuck you, the Queensrÿche.
Yeah,
wow.
You didn't know Jeff. Look, Jeff, I thought Jeff
I did not know that.
Yeah. Portnoy said, "Do not meet your heroes."
Yeah, because that's the old saying. You'd be disappointed.
That's interesting for Portnoy to say that because he can be very, very difficult to deal with. He can be very prickly.
I can only say from my experience has been good with him, but I've only one, so I can't say much more than that.
Portnoy was the rock star of the band. He was anyone with a substance abuse. He was anyone with a fucked up childhood. The other guys were like pretty nerdy. But Portnoy, that's why Dream Theater without Portnoy doesn't have that metal, angry edge.
Yeah.
His lyrics, his contribution is just to bite your fucking head off. The song Honor Thy Father from the Train of Thought album was for his stepdad. He wrote that song with all the samples and shit in the middle of from movies, sent that to his stepdad as a fuck you.
Wow.
That's an angry fucking song. I love it.
I don't think anybody can listen to Dream Theater Portnoy up from the beginning to Portnoy when he leaves. To then now with Mike Mangini. Mike Mangini's a great drummer, but the albums
it's just different. It's not the same.
He doesn't have that crack. He doesn't have that same crack.
Well, there's a difference in sound, but there's the lyrics because
Portnoy produced, he wrote songs, he had a different feel to the rest of the band.
It feels like the photocopy, not the original.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because he controlled all the set list, the ideas, the artwork. He co-produced the albums with Petrucci.
Yeah.
See, now I think as well, it's now all of the music pretty much gets written by Rudis. You know, he's pretty much the main guy.
And Petrucci.
And Petrucci, yeah. But those two guys are like the, you know, they decide which direction the band is going, and I don't necessarily think it's the best.
Yeah, because John Mayung, he used to write lots of lyrics too. He had some of the really philosophical and thoughtful shit, like "Learn to Live" and.
It just didn't feel the same. It didn't feel the same after Portnoy. It just didn't have that.
Yeah.
Same
it doesn't feel the same. But it doesn't make it bad. It just doesn't feel the same.
It's
they're still good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
good.
I've still seen them. I've still seen him many a time with this other guy,
Mangini.
He's a great drummer. Great drummer.
Yeah, he's a great drummer.
Have you seen the documentary on? Have you seen that documentary? That 3-part documentary on YouTube? I think it was originally done by the History Channel. And it was where they actually followed the finding Mangini and how they went through all these different drummers. There was an Australian drummer that went for that.
Wow,
it's great.
Virgil auditioned.
That's Virgil. That's right.
Yeah, he auditioned for that. Yeah,
he did. And it almost came down to there was a German guy. I can't remember his name now, but it was between Mangini and this German guy.
Wow.
And they almost went with the other guy, but they went with Mangini.
Mangini played with Annihilator.
Yeah, he did, and he also was James LaBrie's
on his solo album, the heavier stuff before he did the newer one.
Yeah,
it's wide. Also,
he's a good fucking drummer. It's a really good drummer.
He's very good. No one ever take this as a knock on Mangini. It's not a knock on Mangini.
No.
We all
not at all. Not at all. But the band is different now. That's all.
It doesn't feel the same.
Do they play the old stuff as well or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Note for note, you can't. It's hard to hear. You can't hear the difference really.
It's just the composition since. That's all. The composition since.
The old songs with Mangini just doesn't have Portnoy's feel. He was technical, but he was loose. Yeah.
He doesn't have that crack of the. He just doesn't have.
Mangini's a more technical drummer.
Yeah, Mangini is more technical. Yeah. Portnoy had more feel.
That's right.
Because as much as Portnoy loved Rush, he also loved Kiss.
Yeah.
So he loved the prog, he loved the rock.
Portnoy, whereas Mangini is just on. Whereas Portnoy could sort of slide a little bit and just make it a bit more rocked up, if that makes sense. Like,
and look, how
Portnoy plays standing up. He plays drums standing up.
Yeah,
not all the time, but he would show off.
Does a lot of his work in Flying Colors, for example, is fantastic.
Oh, Flying Colors is so good. Yeah.
So
and fucking Winery Dogs.
Yeah, Winery Dogs stuff. Yeah,
their new album that needs some love because that's a great album.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go to more comments here before we get out of here,
guys.
Andrew says my vote goes to Mindcrime, which is cool. Mike's an interesting comment. Andrew Raday, in terms of composition, Queensrÿche not as complex as Dream Theater. Not sure what anyone else thinks. I don't think Queensrÿche is as complex as Dream Theater.
No, they're not. They're not.
But I think
not even close.
No, but the influence is there if you look at the timeline, which makes sense. Joshua, good to see you. Good friend of ours.
Hey, buddy.
He's gone. British voice on scenes is Terry Brown, producer of the classic Rush albums. Yes. Followed with Adam Pascal from Rent talking about turning it into a musical, but I guess never got off the ground. That's Mindcrime, that is, which is cool. Thanks for sharing those. There we go. He's followed on too with Zeppelin covers Ramble On.
Isn't it already a musical?
I'm not sure. Andrew said at Michael, Sam Dunn from Banger TV did an episode on prog metal and mentions how pivotal Mindcrime is to the genre, how it inspires many bands. I think that's it hasn't weighed into our decisions tonight, but it is important to recognize that Mindcrime was an incredibly influential album and probably still is, to be fair.
It still is.
And here we go. Now we're getting to when Bell made a decision. Rowan said, wait, did Bell say Dream Theater? And we're going, Bell, that's a surprise. So we're getting a lot of that one there. But Adrian said, well, not only does this stream rock, but it's educational too. I'm glad you think so.
Thank you.
What have we got here? Rowan said, a record without holes won't work on a record player. Well, there we go.
One hole. Nicely done. All you're allowed.
Well, any hole is the goal, Dave. Adrian said,
tell out the Sister Mary.
Is it just one hole or is it a hole on each side?
Oh, I don't know, man. Let's just
quantum theory.
Yeah, I know, right? 2 plays at the same time. Edge Crush has gone, Dave. I need that link to the movie Dream Theater. We'll get a way to do that as well. Roland's gone, love Dagama, which is cool to see. And then also Mangini played with Extreme 2 and Steve Vai. So there you go.
Yes, he did.
Wow. There you go.
I didn't know that.
But we finally filtered through the comments. It is ticking over to the new day. So let's quickly get over to a bin and then get the fuck out of here for this week. Thank you all so much for sticking with us. Next week, like I was saying, is Pink Floyd versus Wasp with The Wall versus Crimson Idol. Check us out on TV every week, 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights on Channel 44 in Adelaide, 10:30 p.m. Channel 31 in Melbourne on Saturday nights. Our next stream, like I was saying, is that thing next week. That's going to be a heartbreaker for me. And we have a whole lot of stuff coming up with things in general. So the best way to keep up to date with everything is to actually join our Patreon if you choose. So I know that, Michael, I'll get back to you on the weekend, but there's a lot going on there, including weekly now streams that are going directly to our Patreon audience to get some different interactions going on there as well, which will be a whole lot of fun to go through as well. I think, Dave, this coming weekend, what are we covering off here? We've actually bumped things around. So we're going to do Horns for a Halo, Foo Fighters,
First Symphony X album,
Arabella and the Heist,
Pyramaze,
Arabella and the Heist, and I think that's it. Pyramaze, Foo Fighters, Elegant Weapons, Symphony X Part 1.
First Symphony X.
Love them.
So this is going to be a wild one on our Sunday session coming up. So if you want to get involved in that, join a Patreon. No matter what tier you're on, you can doesn't matter. Like, just pick one and you'll get access to it. It's just part of the fun we have. I don't know. We got shit going on everywhere. It's just fucking crazy. So just like, follow, subscribe. Our details are in the description box. So make sure you do that. Jump in the comments, give it a share. If you're joining in later on, not live with us, we thank you for taking the time to enjoy us via video or audio. That's greatly appreciated as well. So don't feel like you're left out. Just get involved. We'd like to see your feedback. You can do it on audio and video platforms. So just give us your thoughts on anything we've done here today. And a big thank you, as always, to our fantastic sponsors in Squid Ink Screenprinting, Alt-Cvlt and Rockstar Finance. Their details, just like ours, in the description box. So make sure you give them a like or a follow too. That's greatly appreciated. Doing all the usual bookkeeping here before we get out of here. What do we got here? So Michael also said Dagama was awesome. Such a shame he's out of music, which is true there. Dave is sharing the link on Facebook for the Dream Theater movie. Is that right, Dave?
Yeah. Is that where Edge Crushers is, or is he YouTube?
He's on YouTube normally. So he might have shared there. But we'll work out something. Dave, maybe do a video on a 60-second video on it, and we'll post it and share it around with a link attached to it. Maybe do that for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I can do that.
Because you've got the history on it, so give me a 60-second video, a short on it, and then we can
really good fucking student film. Really well done.
But because you've got the history, you do the video and send it to me, and I'll post it on our social so everyone can get a chance to follow.
I'd like to see that.
Yeah. Cool.
I love student films.
Yeah, they're fun. Adrian says, great show. Thank you for tuning in. Andrew said Chris Dagama made a small return to music when he played guitar in his daughter's EP she released. That's actually nice. Thanks for sharing. I didn't know that. That's cool. Thanks for sharing that. All right, let's get to the bin. Let's have some fun. Let's go Conrad first. What are you putting in the bin this week?
The only thing I can think of off the top of my head is bands using backing tracks. I think Motley Crue have just been caught out, apparently doing it again.
Yeah, that's
apparently
a big one.
At Hellfest. Yep. So I'm going to be seeing Motley Crue next weekend.
Ooh, give us your thoughts. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to seeing them. I think, I'm hoping I'm going to be proved all preconceptions are going to be proved wrong. I hope they're going to be brilliant. I do hope they're going to be brilliant. And, I've proved everybody wrong. I'm proven wrong. And, everybody else out there is proven wrong, and they turn out to be great. But, bands using backing tracks, don't.
Fair enough. There's a big
live. Can't do it live, then don't be.
That's right. If you can't do it live, you can't do it. Fuck off.
You can't pull it off. Can't pull it off, then don't do it.
We're not going to go deep into this. What there is, that's a whole discussion happening right across the world. So give us your thoughts on there, folks. But Jeff, your bin for this week.
All right. So my bin is a little more of a personal thing in my interpretation of music and stuff, right? So I have a thing. We all watch a lot of, we're doing reviews and whatnot. We watch bands play. We watch video clips, specifically video clips. And the one thing that fucking always shits me to tears is when the band is there fucking playing and they're pretending to fucking play. None of their instruments are plugged in.
Yeah.
It's like they're in their fucking bedroom, You know, like who fucking wants to see that? I mean, it's just fucking ridiculous. So how hard, and it doesn't even have to be plugged in. How hard is it to take a fucking guitar cable, plug it in the fucking guitar, and just throw it behind you? No one's going to see where it's going, but it looks like you're actually playing.
Yeah.
We get that you're not. We get that you're fucking blah, 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 but make it look like that. And it's like everybody. There's so many great bands out there doing it.
So many do it,
And now that I've mentioned it, next time people are fucking watching videos, you cannot unsee it. Yep. You're going to go, oh, fuck, he's right. Because it's shit.
That scene in November Rain where Slash is playing in the field, should he have an amp behind him? Because he's not fucking plugged in.
Well, I get that, but there's something, also, if you look at that scene where he's up on the fucking playing the church and shit, he just takes his guitar and he throws it off the fucking cliff, right? So
that's cool.
If it had a cable attached, it would have fucking went.
How about in Estranged? How about in Estranged where he comes up out of the water? If he was plugged in, he'd get electrocuted. But you suspend disbelief. He's rising out of the fucking water.
Oh wow! Here you go.
I get that, but like no one's fucking playing in fucking water, Dave. It's just.
I know, but if he was plugged in, it would look fucking stupid.
But but look, you can do the
electric. You're not focused on the chord; you're focused on the fretboard.
Well, there's a brilliant Joe Satriani clip called "Big Bad Moon."
Yeah,
he's playing in the street. He's playing in the street, and he's kicking the amp down the road in front of him.
Yeah,
plugged into the amp,
cool.
And he's booting it down the road in front of it.
That's really cool.
He's actually plugged in. But look, even if you're not playing it, just to give the illusion that you are actually plugged in, how hard is that? And it seems like it just seems to miss them. No one's going to notice. Well, I fucking noticed, and it pisses me off.
Even just plug the wireless array in.
Absolutely.
Just put the wireless array in.
And it's just look, it's petty. I get it. It just takes me out of the moment. It takes me that they're trying to sell the song.
Yeah.
So that's my bin, and I hate it. So get in the fucking bin.
Awesome. All right, Phil, follow that up.
It is petty and it's silly because everyone knows that video clips people aren't actually playing. Everyone knows, and no one expects it to look like you are.
Well, you got an instrument in your fucking hands. What are you trying to do?
Like
you can just be fucking air guitar there.
But it's not. You're not meant to be playing live in a video clip in some weird situation.
I know, but you're trying to sell the idea that you are, right? Like I don't know. And the reason I mentioned it at the beginning of the show is because that video, that Vega video, they do the same thing. So that was my tie-in. But I get it, Bill. I get it, but. Yeah, look, it shits me to tears and it takes me out of it. I'm a petty motherfucker. Right. I can't help it.
Well, are you going to put Jeff in the bin then, Belle? Or
No, not putting Jeff in the bin because I don't think this is going to generate a hot topic that's going to go for hours. So,
boom, quick, boom.
I don't. All right, look, I don't. I was going to have a big rant, but I won't because I couldn't be bothered, honestly. But I'll just say that major appliances breaking down and causing me a heap of grief can go in the bin.
Yeah,
I know that pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Expensive.
Yeah. What was it that broke down? Just quickly, what was it?
My washing machine broke down on the weekend, and I've been hand washing all week, and it's
man,
painful.
That sucks.
So I don't have the time, and it's really time consuming. It takes ages to dry stuff because I can't wring shit out as quick as a washing machine can. I know this is all very domestic, but it is my current pain this week. So the repair people are coming at some point. I don't know. That's all up to them.
No laundromat nearby?
I don't want to go to a laundry. I'd rather hand wash. By the time it takes me to drive there, sit there and do a load and then drive home.
Be grateful you're not living in a third world country and having to wash everything in a river.
I am grateful. But so that's my first world pain right now.
I remember there was that great sorry to digress, there was that great advert for a washing machine where they bring the washing machine to this tribe. And they're all washing in the river. Yeah. They're all washing in the river, and they use the washing machine to beat
the crap out of it. Yeah,
that's classic.
I remember that one. That was fucking priceless. That was well done.
Brilliant. It was so good. It was so good.
All righty, Dave, your bin for this week.
Yeah, excessively long album reviews.
Oh, get in the bin, Dave.
Throw yourself in the bin, Dave.
Oh,
Well deserved.
oh wow. Okay, fair enough. My bin, I was tempted to put Jeff in the bin this week for saying that I didn't like instrumental albums when I don't like guitar. When I don't like guitar wankery albums, I love instrumental albums. So I was almost going to do that, but you got lucky, Jeff, because in the real world, something trumped it.
Tell us.
At the beginning of the episode, I alluded to this one. Scammers can fuck right off. I had $800 taken out of my day-to-day business, day-to-day banking account via my PayPal account. Now, I was able to rectify it and unfuck it very quickly. It's all resolved. It's all good. I'm not out of pocket at all. But just that whole process of having to deal with an account getting hacked and then the process you go through, it actually was better than I thought it would be. But just the scammers, the people that think it's okay to steal from someone else as opposed to getting off your ass and doing your own thing. I don't care what you do. Just do something productive with yourself. Don't take from other people that have nothing to fucking do with you at all. You belong in there.
I've had it happen with concert tickets on people on Facebook. People on Facebook have scammed me for concert tickets.
Yeah.
When the concert's sold out. Yeah. Concert's sold out and then I've given them money stupidly and I've been scammed. Yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. So that whole experience can just go in the bin. Like I said, I was lucky. I managed to. I'm pretty on top of things, so I got a hold of it pretty quickly. So it didn't hurt me, but it was just that whole process having to deal with it is just nightmarish and painful and just what the fuck. So fuck off. Long story short, get in the bin, stay there, and don't come out ever again, and leave my accounts alone. And everyone else's accounts for that matter. Go and worry about your own shit. Don't steal from others. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you found a better story than to put me in the bin, because that's a better story. Yeah.
There's a silver lining, Jeff. There's always a silver lining. It's got to find what it is.
I had no idea I was on the way to the bin, but hey, a funny thing happened on the way to the bin.
I was just amused in the Patreon chat that it was like, you've gone, I know how much Andrew hates instrumental albums. It's like, dude, I listen to classical music. I love classical music. I don't hate instrumental
maybe I was remembering something, and I was just like, because I wrote that thing about the Paul Gilbert thing, and I was like, I know how much Andrew hates instrumentals. I thought, because I wrote weird people, basically, and I was like, yeah, I'm actually referring to you, Andrew, but maybe I don't know, maybe I've obviously gotten it wrong, but I do apologize. But
no, dude, I'm stirring the fuck as I can.
I get it. But yeah, look, there was a story behind that, but we'll mention that another time. Yeah.
All right. Final comments. We'll get out of here. Andrew says, great show again, boys and girls. Have a great weekend. See you next Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Hopefully you've all enjoyed it tonight. Adrian's gone, it's called musical enhancement. I'm not sure what this show can be called anything like that, but we'll give it a shot. Michael says, awesome show. Going to smile thinking about Conrad and the Maiden pub for days. There we go. So there's a little highlight tonight. Nicely done there. Thanks for that. Vinny says, I think you got to just suspend your disbelief. I have the same argument with my girlfriend during movies. Just enjoy it for what it is. And that is a different. Some things do, some things don't, and it's different for everyone, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Adrian says it's called a video when it comes to the rant about clipping your lead in. But what do we got here? Adrian says, sorry to hear about that. Sorry you were ripped off. It's okay. It didn't actually rip me off at all. Everything's sorted out. It's okay, but it's just a pain in the ass to actually rectify the problem when it happens. Vinny said, the price of bananas is my bin, $6.70 for 4 ladyfingers. I'm reduced to half a banana a day while the other half ages a decade overnight. That's nasty. Sally says, scammers are so fucked they are. Sally says, thanks for the show. And Nicole says, thanks for another great night, people. You're all more than welcome. Thank you all for joining us. We hope you've had a fantastic night, and we look forward to seeing you all again very, very soon. That'll be same time place next week. Until then, or hopefully more on time, we'll give it a shot, but we'll see how we go. But anyway, until then, I'm Andrew.
I'm Dave.
I'm Belle.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Conrad.
As always, folks, you know what to do.
Drink up.
Rock on!
Rock on.